Hey Spuddies, PotatoMcWhiskey here, and welcome back to Millennia. Now, I ran a little bit of a YouTube poll, and people asked specifically for a little bit more of a war game. Now, personally, I'm a little bit annoyed that I've been asked to do a war game when they haven't actually rolled out the ability to turn off the combat animations, but you know what? We will suffer through. Yes, we will. I think I'm going to do a Pangaea map with all the AI on Master. I don't feel confident enough to take on the Grandmaster AI yet. I'm still learning the game. I only have a couple hundred hours in. So specific optimization and strategies, I don't think I've really worked out all the kinks in how to play the game. We'll play on a medium map, 8 players. We have a few of these bonuses are quite powerful. Plus tactics on leader units, in my opinion, is really damn good. Discounted rushed production could be quite powerful. I do feel really safe taking something like production. It's +1 production right from the start of the game. I'm also a really big fan of the +1 culture on your homeland. That can actually get you a really strong start. So I'm a big fan of the +1 culture in your homeland. We're going to take that. Pangaea, map size medium. So we'll be focusing mostly on like land-based stuff. And I definitely feel like my opinion of a lot of the early game decisions that you can make has been heavily shaped in a few particular directions. And I definitely have noticed that there are trends in my gameplay that weren't there before. They're not bad trends, but they're I definitely have noticed trends. So if we're starting off with a militaristic kind of direction, we can use our culture to do local reforms in 3 turns and get a really strong start. I do think we are going to start with a scout cavalry because these guys have intensely high return on investment. If you just get a couple early, right? You build one and you go for scouting, and you can get out the gate pretty quick here with scouts. The sort of local immediate area scouting you can do around your capital can be done by your warriors, but for any like long-term scouting for strategic planning, you're going to need actual scouts for that. Now we have found another independent city-state or city that we can probably go capture and kill. I am working the grassland, which will allow me to work both of these forests in a moment. We haven't found a barbarian over here, so I'll move this warrior around and move this warrior up north to try to see if we can find that. In terms of culture powers, local reforms could be quite powerful here. Getting an early town is handy, but the fact that, here's the thing, local reforms will allow me to boost my culture up to 4.5, which means I can chain that into effectively 2 of those, and that 50% boost means I can actually work these forests while still growing the city because my food collected is being doubled as well. And all of these, or not doubled, they're being increased by 50%. So for all those reasons, I'm going to work these forests now. And it means I can effectively grow into another pop and immediately start working another +1 production, which gets multiplied by 1.5. So a lot of powerful sort of synergies on that opening culture, in my opinion, that lets you chain the local efficiency thing. Ooh, I need to control left click on this, control left click on this, and control left click on this. So I am going to take tribal farming for the +1 food. And so now when I work the deep forest again, we're still at 188% growth, which means we grow in 5 turns. And while we're producing 6 production, which is very, very strong for the early game. To put that into perspective, again, a scout cavalry costs 10. A warband costs 12. We could go for a town center to get another government XP to rush through that. This will effectively cost me 2 warriors, while getting me a faster knowledge boost and a faster culture boost. So I think the reward on investment for going for the town center is worth it. And that is absolutely what we're going to do. I'm going to focus on scouting to the east because I do have my warriors that are taking over this western scouting. Okay, and we're hoping to get government experience out of these. Now, spawning an archer is quite powerful as well. It's a very early archer. I'll send him back to meet up with the capital. I'll keep moving these scouts around. We have found another player. Now, we are on a fairly high difficulty, so these players will have a negative opinion of me and pretty competent units. Excellent. We got the lookout, the scout, all that jazz. Now, the other thing we can go for here is tribal elders to get that knowledge online. I really do think the fast knowledge opener is very, very powerful. I'm going to step this archer into this forest to hopefully bait this barbarian unit to attack him so I can gain a little bit of warfare experience and also just experience on that unit. We're still hunting for that barb camp. We haven't quite found it yet, but we will. I don't want to get attacked by these barbs with my single scout because that'll force me to use healing. Oh, I just made it so that it's possible. Well, we'll see if he attacks here or here. Okay, he went for the archers. He saw them as more vulnerable. We have found an undiscovered landmark. I'm going to try and sweep up around this guy. Ooh, lovely, a tribal village. Yeah, we can take the exploration XP or the warfare XP. I do think exploration XP is a little bit better in the early game because that first scout that you spawn is actually very valuable. We could spawn another scout. That gets us up to 3 scouts while only having to actually build 1. Now you have the option here to go for a raise of the warbands here to get 2 warriors. I think it's better for me to go for the local reforms. Ooh, no, I made an error. Hold on. I need to reload this turn because I think I still had the local reforms buff, so I can wait 1 turn before I take the culture boost. Yeah, I still have this for 1 more turn. So I don't need to take local reforms this turn, I can take it next turn. I probably could have done an undo, but old habits die hard, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, we're going to skip the culture power this turn. You can overflow your culture, that's not a big deal. And now we're projected to only generate 3. So I'm going to pass local reforms in Kolkata again, and then 4 turns from now, we can do another local reform. And this just gets you such a strong out the gate early game. I'll put some turns into a warband. We'll discover this landmark, boom. That gets us 5 exploration experience that we can use to spawn another scout that we can send, possibly sneaking down to the southeast here. Okay, lovely. We found a village over here and a village up here. This is excellent. Really good scouting outcomes. Being across the river does confer a defensive bonus, and my archer's in a defensive terrain, so he's pretty safe. Next turn, we can get homeland with +1 science. We did just finish the ability to build councils. I'll finish 2 warbands and then go to council. And the reason for that is simple. 2 warbands plus an archer should easily be able to take this, and then I can research archery to get another archer to send to the left. So I think that sort of thing will get me 2 full early game armies, right? So I'm turn 10, I have 3 scouts, I'll have 2 full armies of 2 warriors and an archer, as well as my government building and my science building, which I think is a really damn good start to the game. Okay, another barb camp over here, and we found this. I could send 5 production back to my capital. I think gold is worth a little more in the early game, so we will take that. We could potentially get this tribal village and discover this as well. We don't need to look at these battles. We are now able to take oral history for that +1 knowledge, which is now currently going up to 4.5 knots, right? Remember, that's it gets boosted by 50% thanks to the regional efficiency gain that we're initiating. I'll grab this little tribal village. Another 10 government experience is amazing because that gets us really, really close to the ability to hit tribalism reformed and then boost our culture even more, as well as getting innovation, which can hit at the perfect time next era to give us a lot of benefits. So the barbarian actually pushed me a tile to the right to my benefit so I could get closer to this forest discovery. I'll send this archer to the left, this warrior to the right. This archer will meet up with this crew in this forest and head north to find the barb camp that's somewhere up here. Why don't you go ahead and guard until you're healed? And we have another culture power. And guess what we're going to do? That's right, we're going to do another local reform, getting that 50% boost. But we do want to make sure the buff has actually expired on our capital. Now, technologically, we can go straight to the Age of Bronze, hit the ground running on the Age of Bronze with 20 innovation in the tank. So we're going to be able to do a lot of really good stuff here. We're going to immediately go for the council to get that extra little bit of tech. I think hitting the Age of Bronze with this level of stuff is nice. I'm going to go ahead and I think you can take another hit. So I will let you take that hit before I heal you. You can promote to a leader. I don't want to. I'll discover a landmark with you. +5, perfect. That gets you another level, making you a little bit more protected from barbarians. So the 50% boost in this city has run out, and we are going to go ahead and grab tribalism reform for the culture and innovation. And then we're going to do a local reform here to buff the city, to keep it pumping. And then our next tribalism reform will actually be getting the town that will allow the city to grow beyond its limited population scape. I do think a town right here is actually pretty good. It's got 2 pastures adjacent to it. We can make this into a pretty nice agricultural town. However, I do think there is also a really good lumber town. There's an amazing lumber town on this deer. If I want to get rid of the deer, I could put lumber all here, which I might do. I might put this here and prepare to hit the next era with engineering experience to try and get that leveled up town for production so we can outproduce our enemies with our war machine. Oh, lovely. Another natural wonder I can discover to get this scout to maximum level. This is now a level 4 scout, meaning it has a 40% increased combat strength. So if we can get it turned into a hero, for example, it would be quite powerful. My scout just barely survived like I'd hoped it would. I will spend the 5 exploration experience to heal him, heal her, hit whatever. I don't know, it's a horse. It's a person on a horse. It's a woman on a horse. Could be a woman on a horse? I don't know. All right, let's attack the battle in the wilderness. We're going to attack the barbarian encampment. It should be a fairly easy battle, back and forth. Now, we won't kill it this turn. We'll just do a lot of damage. And the next turn, it should be easy pickings for us. This scout is holding the pass against this warrior. We're about to advance. We're way ahead of anyone else. We're at 95.45% playing as India here. Let's wipe this out. Should see the wall crack and the barbarian die. So we claimed this. Now, it would have been smart to wait a turn to grab this, but I can immediately boost into the Age of Bronze with the tech here. And that has some pretty profound implications to hit the Age of Bronze first. New national spirits are unlocked, vassals integrate twice as faster, we have access to barbarian warlords, innovation and chaos events may appear, trade and diplomatic favors, envoys are available. So we need to think about diplomacy and engineering experience now. We need to think about our national spirits, and we also need to think about trade. So when it comes to domains, one of the domains we could hit the ground running with really early here is the domain of the raiders. The raiders can snowball incredibly quickly. And I have 2 armies that could make use of that. Another option could be to go for naturalists. Extra food from unimproved tiles. Most importantly, you get that nice culture here. Now, I do think that actually one of the best things with wild hunters, the amount of culture you can generate. Did they get rid of the culture? Did they get rid of culture from meat? If they got rid of the culture from meat, wild hunters used to be insane. Like, absolutely broken insane because of the amount of culture you could generate with them. Anything that generates culture has a lot of power. So for example, these pyramids, but it's limited, right? 1 culture per city. But the wild hunters were insane because you could just annex as many cities as you wanted. And as long as you just laid down a whole bunch of hunting camps, you didn't have to care about culture. It basically trivialized the culture mechanic. But now, I think they have nerfed that. And rightly so, it was kind of overpowered. So Raiders is a pretty natural direction to go for in a war-based game. Mound builders are very powerful because they let you take care of sanitation while generating culture and not needing as much food for your population. So the mound builders are quite powerful in my opinion. The God King dynasty is really interesting because it gives you limestone and the pyramids and makes it cheaper to build with stone. You can make things like the pyramid tomb, right? Gives you influence, government XP, culture. Quite a lot of interesting stuff going on with the God King dynasty. Warriors, in my opinion, is extremely weak for one very specific reason, and that is because they don't have a way to generate culture. Now, most of the things in here don't have a way to generate culture, right? Mound builders, God King dynasty, and naturalists, I think, are the only things that actually generate culture now. Oh, no, the Olympians can generate culture from the hippodrome. And culture is a very, very important resource because it's basically like a magical power that allows you to completely change the board state. However, you guys did kind of vote for a more war-based game, so I am going to go ahead and take Raiders. And the important thing to note is these Raider bands are not that strong, but there are a couple of really important things about the Raiders that makes them really strong for warfare. First of all, getting extra warfare experience from combat. That is this resource over here, which will allow me to use things like reinforcements, forced march, all that kind of stuff, even volunteering troops a lot more often. In addition, the sheer number of free units that you get, they aren't very strong now, mind you. They are not very strong, but there are a lot of them. There are a lot of them. Getting the higher raise value, getting movement on them, getting their attack versus militia so you can take cities better. And then also this one here, getting a 20% heal from victory. This, like, before pre-gunpowder units, this is like the majority of like the early game warfare. You're going to be able to do so much combat. Yeah, it's one of the better designed ones. So we're going to go ahead and take this. And immediately, I'm going to go ahead and take Outlaws. No, you always start with Marauders. I want to take Outlaws because I don't want to spend money on it, but I'm going to take Marauders because this is the one that lets you get the warfare experience to unlock the rest of these. So you should always take that one first. You know. We're going to look to see if we can conquer Datong. One of the most important things you want to do very early on into the Age of Bronze is to get discipline if you're going for any war direction, because you want that maximum army size increase as well as access to the reinforcements to heal your units, and the forced march ability to allow your units to continue to fight beyond their ability, and access to the spear unit, which will be an upgrade to these warriors I have wandering around. So we're going to rush discipline as best we can. Our culture is crazy good right now. I'm super happy about that. We are at our pop limit, so the next one kind of has to be a town if we want to keep developing this city. And we do have the option to go for the regional efficiency boost one more time, but I don't think we need it. I think what we need is to develop this city. So I'm going to go for local reforms. Sorry, not local reforms. I'm going to go for create town. It won't let me put a town here, which makes me giga sad because I would love to put it on this deer tile. Instead, I could put a town here to make it an agricultural town. I think I would prefer to make a wood cutting town because they generate a lot more production. So I'll put a town here, plus it gives me a road to my enemy. And then I'm immediately going to place a forester here to try to lock in better production. And I will do the same here, so that we're still working with a decent amount of production regardless of the overflow. The next thing we're going to work on is the work camp, because we want that engineering experience, because that will unlock the ability to level this town up. And then by building lumber mills adjacent to this town, not only do I get 2 production from the logs from the lumber mill, I will get 2 production from the adjacency on top of the gold from the adjacency, which will help pay for my war machine. So it's kind of like a whole sort of synergistic build going on here. Our objective in fighting Datong is to A, keep our units alive, B, level them up, and C, gain warfare experience so that we can click on the raiders thing more. So I'm hoping that these raiders will survive. That's it. Our goal is to farm experience from them. And then we need to rush north to kill Brazil as fast as possible so that we can snowball off of vassalizing their cities. Okay, with the raiders, we're going to spawn outlaws here. That'll make them half wealth or free wealth upkeep. We'll attack with these 2 guys. They'll probably break the walls and then get kicked out. Yep, that's the goal. But the more important thing is that they generated a little bit of warfare experience for me. I'm going to take one of these guys off of a forester and put them on a forest here just so we're growing slightly. This is going to be an age of relative slow progression for just a little while. Now, I can't remember if units healed up faster outside your territory, but we will assume that that is true, or outside of enemy territory. So we'll assume that's true, and we'll pull those guys back. Got 3 turns until discipline is complete. I'm going to take community projects here in tribal government form, so I can get farm improvements a little bit quicker. Now, in an ideal world, we would have found more tribal villages to get another snap of signs, but unfortunately, that doesn't always work out. We did find a bunch of stuff, though. So you can't complain too much. This poor little scout has gotten caught out, so we're going to move in, see if we can't do anything about that. Perfect, another tribal village. So discipline will finish research this turn. And here we go, this is amazing. So here's an innovation event. Our raider bands will get +3 attack and +3 defense. This is why you take that innovation. This is why you rush that innovation. It's so powerful. These guys just became insane. I can't stress that that's like a 25% combat strength increase, which is a lot more combat strength than you would think. So we'll upgrade both of these spears and we'll give them another turn to heal, and then we'll go ahead and hopefully take Datong while the walls are still broken. We'll upgrade these spears as well and move them over here. We'll want another archer in these crews, but for now I think it's fine. Okay, lovely. Grab that tribal village. Diplomacy experience is nice, but I do want that warfare experience. The sooner I fill this out, the better. So we finished discipline. This is giving us the spear, the chariot, all that stuff. We're going to quickly pop back to grab farming because everyone else should have researched it so we can get it in a single turn. And that'll allow us to, sort out our food situation up here. All right, the walls are still dead in here. So I'm going to move in with my bands, my raider bands, and they should be able to do omega damage here. Shred the city. Now, we have the option to pillage them. I think what we want to do is vassalize them because in the long term, these vassals will provide us really nice amounts of gold, research, culture, and improvement points. The culture being the thing that we really want from them. And also this got us experience. So I'm going to go ahead and take the night march to get us a little bit more movement speed on our raider bands. And then we're going to go look for fights with these raider bands. Perfect. There is farming. Then we're going to ping pong back for community because we want the saw pit. This gives us engineering experience and will convert the 3 lumber mills that we plant into it'll double the production of those. So we'll go for that. I cross the river with my raiders and I attack here. Now remember, their goal is to generate experience by fighting. So that is what they are going to do. We're going to deal heavy damage here. Thankfully, we have an archer that's going to be shooting over. Didn't quite finish it, but we can finish it next turn. Need these guys to heal for 1 more turn before I move them out. I'm going to take my scout to the north so I can get a better idea of what we're fading up against. So we've got Fortaleza here. We should be easily able to conquer this. It will cause some crises, but that is the prices you paces. Could spawn a spear and an archer. I don't think that that's the play. I think local reforms to make our one city really powerful is actually really, really dang good. All right, we should be able to clear this barb camp, reap its rewards. We can get 15. Oh, spawning a crossbow. That's insane. This army just became a hunter-killer squadron. This crossbow is a 16-16 unit compared to a 6-6. It's basically more than 3 times as powerful as the previous unit. We found another barbarian. Now watch this, right? We've got 20 warfare experience. We attack. Boom. We kill him, and now we've got 28. We're getting 2 experience per unit in this army attacking. And if we can keep this army attacking often enough, we will just completely shred this tech tree. Also, now we can spawn 2 raiders for 20 XP whenever we want. So it's all coming together. Now that I'm up to 2 full stacks of raider bands, I'm thinking of starting to look at Fortaleza as my target. I could also spawn a settler. It's not completely pointless. It's quite powerful to spawn settlers. I could create a vassalized territory somewhere. Do I want to do that though? It's not the worst thing in the world to do, you know? Could be a nice little city over here. Problem is then I would have to defend it. It would take a pop out of my capital, so we're just going to hold on to our experience for now. No, we should spawn a settler, I think. No, we should leave it. It's too risky. I often get into these like weird death spirals of having to try to defend cities that I settled when I'm in these war games. So I'm just going to avoid it because the short-term reward is actually quite low. So I don't think there's really a point to get that city out just yet. We'll take a slightly more chill approach. So there's the Ottoman Empire. We can move forward here and start smashing this barb camp. We should be able to break it very easily. Should not be a problem whatsoever. 100 wealth or 10 culture. The wealth is nice. The wealth gives us a nice buffer zone on this negative economy. So while normally I think culture is extremely valuable, I will take the wealth. And now we're going to look towards attacking Brazil because we'll be able to generate armies from fighting them. Since we're planning to declare war in Brazil, I'm going to occupy this deep forest where we can get a little bit of a heal up so we can keep ourselves safe from any reprisal attacks. The work camp is completed in Kolkata, getting us that all-important engineering experience. Let's go here and get this plantation. The olives will cover our gold deficit. No, we want to save our production for the lumber mill because that'll also give us engineering experience. Yep. So for now, what I'll do is to keep my capital safe, I'll put a lookout in it to give us a better vision, as well as basically the capital, the ability to attack units that are adjacent to it. So Fortaleza should be an easy kill for me. There's community, giving us access to the saw pit, the kiln, and the mill. Our third technology is going to be belief, so we can build the temple to get all that juicy technology. I am, however, going to put a turn into workers to get those free levy points, plus it's super cheap because it's from the previous era and everyone else has already researched it. So kind of being tactical about when and where and what you research is actually very powerful. So let me pop in here. I will gather, not a hunting camp, sorry. I will build a woodworker. We're going to build a saw pit right here, which doubles the value of log. So the log goes from +2 production to +4 as lumber, which is perfect. And then we're also now getting the engineering experience to be able to expand this town, level it up so it generates more wealth and also generates more production. So the production snowball has begun. It's unfortunate that that's a phrase I have to use in this game, but basically every 4X game, you know, production is king. It just always is. Okay, so workers is completed. We get those extra construction points. Let's work on belief because we want that temple. These other things over here to the left or right are good as well. But I'm hoping to trigger an Age of Blood because my civilization will do exceptionally well in an Age of Blood. I do think grabbing the crane here for the 1 improvement point would allow me to improve my territory quite a bit faster. So I'm going to go for the crane. Now, don't get me wrong, would love to be getting the encampment and stuff like that for that warfare experience. But these improvement points, I can generate a lot of warfare experience from fighting, right? I don't have very good ways to make other resources. So I need to figure out how I'm going to get them. Okay, let's put a forester here, skadoosh, and I'm going to peel off one of these foresters to work on the land because we don't want the town to be negative growth. In that case, we should put the production into the food stockpile for the 3 food to allow the city to grow while also working the forester for max lumber mill. So I think that's what we're going to do. Food stockpile is up, but we're still shrinking in here. That's okay. Let's go ahead and get the crane. It's very, very slowly shrinking. But we'll grab the crane to be able to improve the tiles faster. We're going to declare hostilities on Brazil. I totally forgot to actually declare hostilities on them earlier, which means it's going to be a few turns until I can attack them. Which also means I should probably spawn that settler now. The city is negative on food anyway, so what's the issue? Let me just redo this. We don't want the city to starve. We want net positive growth. 3 more turns until we can do another diplomatic action. That's fine. It does allow me to bring this army up, and actually this army is quite powerful thanks to the crossbow. It just means my tempo is shot slightly here, which is not good. We have another culture power. I think an obvious choice can be cutting edge. It's very hard to generate anything cutting edge wise. I was really hoping I could trigger the Age of Blood. I can also Eureka here for 10 science, which could propel me up into the Age of Iron first. Yeah, I slightly messed up here. The Age of Iron is fine. Don't get me wrong. Eureka for 10 science. Right. Or I could double the science output of my capital or get a 50% boost for 5 turns, which is 10 science. So local reforms is just strictly better than Eureka in this situation for me. I don't need a bigger army, so I'm just going to do another local reforms. Let me see. Yeah, local reforms is a lot better than I ever gave it credit for when I was initially learning and playing the game. Okay, so on this tile right here, I'm going to build a farm. This farm will turn what is a 2 food tile into a 3 food tile. meaning the total amount of food that my people are producing goes up slightly, meaning I can work more people in the forester without going negative on food. And then my next 2 improvements will be a second farm here. And then the next improvement will be the mill for the food. That will take care of my food, and I'll probably build a housing district somewhere. I'm going to control left click expand town because I want the game to remind me when I can expand a town. And I will want the game to remind me about outriders for the raise value. So we can get to the Age of Heroes here. We have already done the Age of Heroes. I think I might try to... I don't think the Age of Heroes particularly synergizes with my goals, so I will go for the Age of Iron. If I get locked into the Age of Blood, I won't care that much. We have completed the crane in Calcutta, so we're getting more construction points every turn. Let's grab the temple for the culture and knowledge. Remember, it's hard to get culture, it's hard to get knowledge, so you want to get as much of that as you can because it's a very, very powerful game, sort of game-defining resource. Okay, today is the day we can declare the war. Boom, and Brazil just got defenders into the city. Well, step across the river, attack Paulista to get money damage in, and then we will attack Belim as well to get money damage in. That's our goal. Try to get free kills without costing ourselves much and keeping our units out of range of these cities. So with warfare here, we're going to need outriders, and I think also importantly, I'm going to need another archer. And I do have positive gold now, so I can rush that archer. I'm going to need another archer to form a full unit here, and these are going to be the units that attack the city. But yeah, we want to look for as many free attacks on isolated enemy units, because it doesn't matter what happens. As long as we're attacking, we get the experience. My settler is in position. I'll go ahead and plonk them down here. This isn't particularly good land, so I figured it'll generate a little bit of gold to me. A trickle of gold, a trickle of everything else. It'll grow slowly, 4% per turn. We can speed that up over time, and we will. But if we can conquer Brazil nice and early, we can get a lot of value out of that. Okay, so we've managed to bait the AI units into coming out of the city. And this is when we strike. We kill as many of them as possible to weaken their armies. We only have a 40% chance of winning by attacking the city. So I think we go straight for the jugular to attack this army. And they made the mistake of upgrading one of the archers into a leader, which isn't necessarily a terrible idea. It's just that the archer used to counter my raider bands, and now they don't. So now they're in a bit of a pickle, because we can shred through them, knocking them back a tile, and now they can't escape us because we have another army. We have multiple armies coming up from the south. And even more beautifully, I can spawn raiders in my capital, which is just amazing. So we're going to be doing serious damage here. Smash and grab. Brazil wants peace. I want to continue the war. I want to win the war, most especially. I think I'll step a single raider here and pillage. That's 60 gold. We'll move you to here. We want to take Fortaleza. Probably won't get total domination. Okay, we did. Perfect. We loot a bunch of money. It's our city now. We should be easily able to secure this kill. And now we're locked into the Age of Blood. I would love to go to the Age of Blood, but I'm just going to finish the Age of Iron. Now, one thing we absolutely need in this city is we are going to need a city guard because the unrest here is starting to grow. Now, these things that we have vassalized, they will generate resources slowly for us, right? But it's a trickle. We can and will build them up to the point where they will generate more. It's just, you know, all things in due time. I'm going to spawn a scout here so I can send him up to grab that tribal village, just so I don't have to divert any of my armies there. Here's a little sneaky trick we can do. That was not what I wanted to do. Oh well, we pillaged for gold. Totally misclicked there. Unfortunately, scouts can't pillage, and I forgot about that. Yeah, what I wanted to do was to be sneaky and put a single unit over here to pillage this, but I accidentally clicked with them all. All right, scout, grab this tribal village. 10 knowledge. Is that enough? Oh, it's enough to let me be the first to advance. Perfect. All right, we've caught this hoplite out in the open. Now, hoplites are very strong, or the Spartans. We do have 2 archers, though, and they deal decent damage. The hoplite is really good at taking damage. It doesn't dish out that much. Now, to be fair, when you've got a bunch of hoplites that are just tanking for you, it feels like they do damage. Let's get to here, and we'll attack Curitiba. Okay, we broke the walls. Let's move in with the... Move in with the raid bands again. We'll attack and see what happens. Perfect. Completely obliterated. Brazil has been eliminated. So that's a 37 turn elimination on Brazil in the Age of Bronze as we switch to the Age of Iron. Now these raider bands are going to start falling off. That's the important thing. However, we can stretch them out a little bit with pillage and victors and the legacy, but it's not a perfect system. Okay, so unrest in Calcutta is handled. We do have the ability to make another farm, so I'm going to go ahead and plonk a farm right there. I'm going to remind myself by control clicking on the mill to build a mill when I have the resources. We finish the city guard. We also need to build a dwelling for the housing. Housing is now a problem. Oh, we have the ability to expand the town. So I'm going to expand Puranakila and set it to be a lumber town. Boosh. And now it's producing +4 production. So I'll also queue up a forester reminder to build a forester here. That's +4 production. That means in total, right? If we think of this as a production chain, this village, as a totality of units, if I had just built 3 lumber mills here, it'd be 6 production, okay? With the extra saw pit here, it's 12 production. And with this specialized as a lumber town, it's going to be 18 production. It's very, very powerful to do this kind of thing. And it's also producing 12 gold once I have this shopping camp up here online. So very, very strong for your economy, these towns are. Very, very, very strong. Something you should totally be looking into doing. We definitely need the meeting hall. It's a once per nation, and it does give us our first chunk of diplomacy XP. I don't think we necessarily need the borders of this town to grow, so we don't need the dolmen, but we definitely want the experience in the form of the meeting hall, because that's going to be a cornerstone experience. It's going to be a cornerstone resource for building up our vassals. And we need to think what our next step is. I will queue up a settler. You need to think about what our next step is in terms of warfare. Like, do we continue on and attack Japan? I actually think Japan could be a good target here. So I'm going to start moving troops in that direction. Japan has pretty vulnerable buildings up here to the north. I'm going to spawn another scout to send northeast to kind of get a better scout on Japan. Here we go. I think it was me that pulled us through to the next era, which I'm very happy about, because that gets me another 10 innovation. The mine improvement is cheaper, towns grow faster, and we got new governments. Okay, new domain available. We've got gold and iron. Spain has declared hostilities. The Ottoman Empire have warned us, and in 2 turns we can do a peaceful revolution. That depends on how much we care about the chaos. If we generate chaos right now, it is about to reduce. So I think we can do a violent revolution, no problem. Now the question is, do we want to go for the imperial dynasty and have a single super powerful city? Or do we want to go for the kingdom that's more geared towards making use of your vassals? I would say that the kingdom is generally weaker than the imperial dynasty. Generally. These order research and reap scutage abilities are quite good, but the imperial dynasty, if you just go construct palace, 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 you can get like 5, what is it, for every, you get 2.5 production and 1 science for every 5 population. And all you have to do is click this button once. Boom, 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 boom. It's really, really strong. Plus, if you look at the difference, right, if you see the buff to capitals, right, 2, 3, 5, 5. This one's 2, 3, 4, 3. So it has a better short term and a better long term. I just don't see where the kingdom is the right place. I mean, I guess if you're spawning a lot of envoys or spawning a lot of settlers, but yeah, I really just think the imperial dynasty is just better, unfortunately. Unless you're spawning a lot of settlers, which means you aren't progressing through this tree. So now the place where the kingdom is a lot better is the seat of power. Because while the seat of power isn't as good as the palace, right? If you look at the palace here, it is, let me see if I can get it to hover over it. If the game wants to play is nice. Oh, I got a middle click, right? Yeah, I changed how that works. This is worth 4 unrest, 3 government experience, and 4 influence. The place where I do think that the kingdom is better is to do with this building right here. The seat of power. The seat of power is really powerful because of that diplomacy experience, which allows you to get traders, get envoys, improve your cities, and then exploit them for the reaping of scutage. So I think from a roleplay perspective, I think Kingdom works better, but I do think mechanically Imperial Dynasty is just better. So I'm going to take Kingdom. Let's go ahead and upgrade our crossbows. That will start to eat into our profitability, our empire's money, our cash flows. Will allow these guys to heal up. I want to know if I can get to Susa. Okay, I can. So I'm going to send a group of barbs over there to claim Susa. Now I could spawn more raiders, but I definitely want to get pillage up first. Well, no, I think just having lots of pure military on the ground. Well, no. I want to trigger pillages right as I, yeah. Sorry. It says army destroyed. Perfect. Let these raiders heal up. Now tech-wise, after moving into the Age of Iron, infrastructure is a really good one if you want to build up your capital. It is also the thing that allows you to go to tier up your food economy once again. So I am a big fan of opening infrastructure. Plus, there aren't that many military techs in here. You could make an argument for the catapult, but our sort of methodology of killing cities is just like running straight at them, screaming. So we're going to grab the infrastructure tech here because we want that ability to build more towns. So my capital city needed a dwelling. I'm just going to plonk it down right there. that will take care of the housing needs for the next three population, or the next one population. So yeah, the way I want to explain this growth thing is a lot of people are saying, oh, you only need to get to 100%. No. 100% is zero. 100% is the minimum you need in order to not lower your population. You only reach 100% growth rate. Like right now I'm growing at, 20, I've got 150, right? I'm growing at 20% per turn, which is decent. It's okay. It's not amazing. It's going to take me 6 turns to grow, which doesn't math out right. So I think there's something squirrely going on there. So I can either take the coup d'etat, which will lower the efficiency of Kolkata by 50% for 3 turns, which is way quote unquote worse, like as in a lower level of impact than just doing a local reform. So I'm willing to take that considering how many times I've managed to get a 50% increase. So looking at important buildings in here, I definitely feel like the seat of power, super important. That's going to get us another government experience per turn and +1 diplomacy experience per turn. Right, okay, another turn or two of healing on some of these barb units. I already have enough cutting edge to trigger an event, so clicking that now would not be great. Creating a town in the north for Curitiba would allow me to get roads up to Japan's territory. So I'm going to do that. This is like an infrastructural decision. I need roads. I'm going to go ahead and take pillage, which will make my raider bands more effective against militia. Militia are the units that defend cities. And then we'll move those north. And by the time they get up there, I should have enough experience to spawn a raider band. The nice thing too about giving Curitiba a village is that it'll expand to these tiles and the city will improve them and it'll become a really good vassal. But if you look there, you can see I'm already starting to pull in a trickle, just a trickle of culture from my vassals as they grow and develop. So Susa is next on the chopping block. Let's see how my barbarian swarm does. Pretty dang good, I would say. This barbarian swarm is healed up. Let's go ahead and declare hostilities with Japan and look for units that we can kill. I'll pull you back to heal. One thing I kind of both like and dislike about this game is that you can upgrade your units basically anywhere. I mean, it's cool and all, but man, does it feel toxic as hell to upgrade an archer to a crossbow in your opponent's face. Greece wants to restore neutrality. I refuse. I reject open borders. I am all militarism all the time. Now, if the game didn't have a stacking unrest penalty for declaring war, I would declare war with everyone on the map because this is a total war game, right? It's a total domination. But the problem with that is the stacking unrest penalty, which would completely cripple my entire empire into oblivion. It could be fun to do that someday, but today is not that day. We're going to go ahead and vassalize this. Now, we could kill them for wealth and population in Kolkata, but I think vassalizing is the right play. It gets us, a trickle of gold, a trickle of all these resources, but that will build up over time. That's the important thing there. Now, actually taking a look at Datong, this is not a bad city for us to annex. We have the potential for a lumber guild. We have a little bit of fishing food and just enough flatland to deal with our housing problems. Now, we could probably not do a whole lot with this city in the long term, but we could eventually demote it to a vassal. So I may look to integrate this as a short-term development and then re-release it as a vassal once we're kind of done building it up. Because this city is not going to do much on its own. However, I'm still working on the capital, right? If we take a look at the capital, we need the... what was it called again? The mill. So what abilities did Japan... I think they went for mound builders, so they're not going to have any unique units that I need to worry about. Shouldn't be too hard to take them out. Right, my capital is built the seat of power. The stores building could be really helpful for getting my other cities up and running. So I'm going to grab the stores. I could send lumber to that city to give it a kickstart. Okay, there's innovation. Pre-gunpowder units will get attack bonuses versus militia. This is fantastic because it will stack with the pillage ability. So if I come in here and I take a look at this guy here, you can see here, he's got 2 1.2 attack value bonuses against militia. Now, when can we declare war on Japan? Pretty soon. What does this attack look like here? So it looks like we're going to take light damage, deal medium. More importantly, we're going to get 8 warfare experience out of fighting this, which will allow me to spawn another warband. And we severely damage one of Japan's armies. Spawn raiders over here in Curitiba, merge that crew together, and move out to look for a fight near Japan. Oh, I wonder if I can yoink this city by doing a quick little attack on the palisade walls. Oh, not quite. It was close though. We almost stole it. Stole that barb camp. All right, let's upgrade this crossbow. Now I feel like I have Japan on the ropes. Like we're about to do some serious violence to Japan. All right, we got a reminder for the forester and the mill. So I'll build the mill first because that's a food improvement. And I'll siphon one guy off the forester to work the mill. This will let us grow faster to actually get people to work the mill again, or to work the forester again. For diplomacy, we want to spawn merchants to build up our vassals. Attack these barbs just for the warfare experience. Also, the unit experience isn't bad. We've got 4 archers in a hill. That is gruesome. But let's go ahead and declare war on Japan. I'm going to split these 2 stacks up and get 2 raises, getting me a nice 40 gold. Then we'll kill this town, securing a lot of experience and a little bit of wealth. Then we'll play it safe to see how Japan responds to the opening moves of the war. They want peace. No. Okay, so their first response was to step out and attack me here. They did a significant amount of damage, but their units weren't very strong, so we retreated in good form. I'm just going to pull these units back to a safe distance because we successfully baited these armies out into the open terrain, and now I can push them back and eliminate them. Shouldn't be too difficult. Now I could force march here, but I also want to farm the warfare experience. That's quite powerful, because if I can get this victor's bonus, the amount of health my warriors will be able to generate on the offensive will be kind of mad. There we go. Here's a fight that we can win pretty easily. We've got an archer and a chariot up on a hill, so they'll get a couple good hits off, but we will be able to push them back. Now we could forced march here on these guys to finish them, but I kind of like the idea. The fighting is good for me. Lots of fighting benefits me because I get the warfare experience. That's what I need. That's what I want. We're so close to getting victors. We're at 48 experience. Once I have that, I don't need to worry about generating the experience anymore, except to generate more warbands. But at that point, do I really need that? Okay, so let's go ahead and we're going to... I don't like to do this because of the culture stuff, but I'm going to go ahead and integrate Datong, which will give us a net -1 culture. That's fine. We can take care of that. And this is why you don't want to annex cities, is because of the culture situation. However, we can convert them back to a vassal after we build them up. So that's going to be part of our play here. Now, the first 2 things that we need are, well, is a work camp. Be amazing for that production. But we also need the seat of power. So I'm probably going to go work camp into seat of power. That's going to be everything we build here. But we also need to build a city guard. So I'll go city guard into work camp. The city guard will protect the city from unrest. The work camp will give the city production and engineering experience. The engineering experience will allow me to upgrade the town. The town will be a woodcutting town that'll get it more production, so this will help me skyrocket this town off the ground. I'll also send it a lumber from the capital because the capital has a decent amount of production. It can spare some. Okay, spawn 2 barbarian warlords at every region for all nations. I'm going to go ahead and pay for that because I don't want to deal with that. I can't really deal with it very effectively. What I can do is get a nice kill on these guys here. They're very, very vulnerable. We can push them back. Although he did just upgrade to crossbows, which means the time to strike is now. I didn't see that upgrade to crossbows. We kind of have to... Crossbows are basically the counter to barbarian warlord. So we need to strike now, unfortunately. Kill this archer. Boom, 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 boom. I'm going to slam victors and grab the legacy. That's going to be +1 warfare experience per turn, as well as 20 health from victory. It's 2 more warbands I can send to the front line as well. It would be nice... Oh, okay, nice. We got infrastructure, which is going to give us access to the aqueduct for sanitation, the oven for bread, and the public quarters for housing. I also get access to another town. A good pickup here could be officials. This would give us access to the market, so I will go ahead and grab the market. Diplomacy XP is great for developing a kind of vassal-centric empire. We just finished the stores in the capital, so let's export a single log to the city of Datong, or not a log, sorry, a single lumber, which means we take 4 production from Kolkata, our capital, and we move it over to Datong, which means this city has effectively doubled its production per turn as a brand new city, which is great. It's going to develop much quicker. And then to help out the capital, I will build another forester here to get more production. We do need a little bit more food. I'm not too worried about food in this city. We could build the granary though, and that would take care of our food needs and allow us to continue to grow this city. And I think I will go for that. Need to keep developing these cities. Remember, most of my military doesn't come from being built. It comes from being bought with experience points. And developing an economy behind that is an important part of staying up with the AI, because we're reaching the point where it's like, my empire is like a sprinter. It's starting to burn out. Okay, one of my barbarian raider bands got surrounded and attacked because I was playing meekly. That's okay. Let's slam Kyoto. Perfect. I definitely need like an army of cavalry units. I may quickly stop here to grab an encampment and some chariots, because I need an army that's capable of fighting a non-line unit army, an army that doesn't take bonus damage from archers, which all of my barbarians currently do. The AI is seemingly pretty smart for building an entire archer stack to counter me. So kudos to the AI. So we no longer need to upgrade any of these, so all of our warfare experience can be spent on things like reinforcements, forced march, and in my opinion, spawning raiders. More raiders is always more betterer. Excellent. We just unlocked officials, which has given us access to the market building for that diplomacy, as well as the free envoy. Okay, next up, I think it would be nice to get the cavalry unit to complement our current army. So we're going to research horses. Where do I want to send this envoy? I don't really have much use of an envoy in this particular game. Datong has finished its city guard, so it's working on its work camp. We need to build up the city's capability of producing food. So here on the water, I'm going to queue up a fishing boat. And once we have the town, we'll queue up the other stuff. So what are we dealing with here? This looks like a group of spears and chariots. It's saying we'll take that medium damage and deal medium damage. I'm okay with that. If we get to break our opponents significantly. Good kills. Now I could force march here and clear that army. And I think I will. Plus this puts me in a hill where I'm in the defensive terrain. Although it did cost me a raider. That's okay. We do have resupplies. Now, some of my units here are routed, which is bad for if these archers were to attack me again. So, I need some XP so I can force march that unit again. I'll attack this barb camp to get the experience I need. Wiping it out. Oh, there's a 30 warfare experience. That's huge. Let me tap the old reinforcements button on these guys. And now they're 100% happy. Perfect. Tap the old reinforces button on you too, keeping all my soldiers nice and happy. Need those cavalry units ASAP. I'm hoping that these scouts look like juicy targets for the AI and that they'll attack them instead of my actual vulnerable line units. Looks like they did not go for that route. Let's have a look here. The leader attacked, and then the crossbows attacked. Unfortunately, he probably forced marched them. Yeah, those crossbows are a problem, man. Take the warfare experience and chaos. You step up here and explore this. That gets me the experience. I'll be able to spawn another scout soon in Kyoto. Can't really do anything until I get this chariot army up. They've stalled my offensive. Unless I was to just go super hard right now and hope that that worked out for me. Let me forced march you back. I lost the 2 spears, but that's okay. But these guys are now vulnerable. Okay. And then if I forced march again, we can wipe out that army. Then if I forced marched again, we can step forward. It's a level 2 town, unfortunately. Might be able to steal Fukuoka this turn. Oh, my morale is still a little broken here. Forced march, step out of the city, hit them with the reinforcements, then step back in and clean up. Perfect. Stole Fukuoka. So that's the power of forced march, which is why I was trying not to spawn too many raiders, because you just dominate the AI with those abilities. It's super, super powerful. Okay, perfect. In Datong, I'm going to build a fishing boat right there. That will get me a copy of tuna, which is 5 food, which is on average a really high amount of food, which means I should be able to work this hills tile with my other worker, getting me just a smidge more production. First chariot is out. I'm going to pay 11 gold to rush my culture here a single turn. I'm going to build a town for Datong, Darjeeling over here, and then we will expand this town. And we plan to build it up. The natural thing to build adjacent to this will be a saw pit. We'll have to wait a while for its borders to expand, but we'll see what I can do. All right, I'm going to create a group of crossbows who can all sort of shoot over the walls at militia in these cities. They're pretty good at that task. Let's put the envoy into Curitiba so we can technically annex that sooner. Our raider bands are up here in the north, so I'm going to look for an easy fight to get 8 experience without costing me anything. But yeah, the fact that like a single attack from a 4 stack of units is basically half of a forced march lets you do some crazy stuff with reinforcements and forced march, like the sort of maneuvers that, you know, Alexander the Great only dreamt of in his wildest dreams. I think I'm going to declare hostilities with Rome so that I can get farm experience off these scout units. So let me move in there, farm a little XP, and then spawn another pop of raiders here. Now in the city, they have an envoy and a spear. Should be no match for these crossbows. We'll clear this barb camp. I don't even know if, actually, I don't know if I can clear this with just these guys on this hill terrain. Nah, yeah, looks like it was close. I don't actually dictate how long, like what is the criteria that makes a battle go for 10 back and forth or 1 back and forth, right? That's something I'm not fully up on in the game. Okay, a lot of my vassals have just spawned rebels. For some of them, it's not that big of a deal. The ones with the city attacks. For others, it is a big deal. Let's move you to here and then see if we can take Oga. I want to see if I can break this town because it'll get me a bunch of cash. Perfect. Money seized, as well as experience and all the juicy things that come with that. I might need this horse stack to go to Avaretti. Now, what are these? These are rebels with 111 combat power. I might have to move my horses over there to clear that. Ooh, I could get plus 10 innovation from this. I'm going to take that. Innovation is always, always amazing. Unless you're like overflowing with innovation, and then it's only okay. But if you have almost no innovation and you get a little bit, it's so good. So we might lose some of our vassals to rebels. We also might not. You usually get a turn or two to respond. I'm glad I have these horses that just came out. It's not what I want to be working on though. Not really. Okay, I'm going to put the time into a market. I want that diplomacy experience. I can spawn a merchant at Tatong. Sorry, I didn't want it at Tatong, did I? No, I didn't. I wanted it for Amaravati. All right, let's clear this outpost, doing damage to their economy. My scouts are just doing a little scouting. I'm going to regroup you into the city so that you can help these poor souls hold it for an extra turn while we wait for this group of barbs to get here to help out. We've cleaned up these rebels. Let's get rid of them. Perfect. Those rebels are now dealt with. You jump into Curitiba to keep it safe. Put you into Fortaleza to keep it safe. The city militia will get targeted first. You'll do some damage. I could spawn an extra band of raiders here. The city militia are decent at holding the city, honestly. But if I spawn raiders here, I'll feel a lot safer. So I have 4 units protecting this. So I've protected Amaravati. Fortaleza is protected. Curitiba is protected. Susa is protected. Kyoto is protected. I need to attack now before they get more units in here. Now it's saying medium damage. As long as my units don't shoot the walls and they focus on shooting the actual units, the damage they'll do will set us up for a future attack with these 2 barb stacks here. Now the play here though is to force march these guys out of the city into a safe place. You gotta keep your boys safe. And keep your boys safe. What up, it's your boy, and we're keeping you safe. Okay, looks like all of my vassals held except for Amaravati, because I wasn't able to get stuff there fast enough. Nope, remain hostile, which has created revolutionary India. We're going to go ahead and declare hostilities with them. I was hoping I didn't have to do this. This is just unfortunately the reality. If I counterattack fast enough, we should be able to do something. So I could spawn a settler if I want, or I could make settlers cheaper. I quite like the idea of making settlers cheaper. So I'm going to make settlers cheaper, and from now on, spawning settlers will be cheaper and easier. And that's what we will be doing. Setting ourselves up for a chivalry transition. We're going to need to think about where the hell we're going to get our arts XP from, but that's neither here nor there, nor is it something I need to think about right now. All right, let's slaughter the spearmen that are outside the city. I'll slaughter these spearmen as well. I'm going to forced march these crossbows to smash the city, see if we can't get more free damage in. If I lose a crossbow here, it's not the end of the world, but it's likely that they'll just rout, which means I can force march you guys out of danger, force march these guys across the river into the forest, and then attack the city. Now it's saying things won't go great for me here, but that's fine. I'm willing to trade some of these barbarians to break these walls, because now we can get in there and we can start doing the dirty business of taking the city. And there it is. Step 1. Forced march, step out of the city, reinforce in neutral territory, boom, step back in, break Kobe. That's the power of the forced march reinforcement combo. Now that puts Japan on the brink of destruction. They've only got York down to the south, and we will take out York. You watch me. And we have built a relatively large empire on conquest. Okay, the rebels over here died. The rebels over here died. Fortunately, the rebels over here did not die. How did things go in the city of Susa? I think my scout held pretty well there. Usually the crappy sort of city garrison units are almost always targeted first. So we'll rush in there with our barbs and sort of soften these boys up. I might not be able to save Susa. We'll see. We've definitely saved Kyoto. That much I'm certain on. All right, we got the work camp in Datong. We would really like the borders of this city to expand a little quicker. It's taking a decent amount of time to expand here. I suppose it's not the worst. Let's start with the basics. We'll get our council building to get our knowledge up. The seat of power does give government XP and diplomacy, so we'll prioritize that first, I think. The city does kind of depend upon that for everything else. I will place a saw pit here, even though we're not actually producing lumber. But what this does allow me to generate a engineering point, and means I can just send lumber to that city and I can convert it to, or I can send logs and it'll convert it to lumber itself, which means I pull back 2 of the production back into Kolkata for now, while leaving this city effectively, from a production standpoint, in the same position. Revolutionary India has met me 3 turns until we can attack them. My favorite thing is when my cities get taken by rebels. Let's clear out these final rebels. I think these are the last actual ones. The Kyoto rebels are gone. The rebels of Curitiba are gone. The rebels of Fortaleza are gone. I'll move you guys over to reclaim Amaravati. A few turns they'll be able to attack. He's got settlers. Oh, God damn it. Yeah, revolutionary states are like, they're not scary. They're scary in the sense that they can multiply and just blob all over the map before you've had a chance to get your pants on after they revolt. So they're scary in that sense, but they're not scary in the sort of, ooh, I'm scared sense. Nice. So in Kolkata, we got our trading post. We can foreign import for some culture. That would require us to actually have a gold income in this city, which we lack until we can get a culture event. But that means the culture event would let us get the gold income we need. So I'm going to pay to import trade goods for 8 gold to get +1 culture, which I think is a pretty good deal. That does mean I'm losing money now, which is a bit of a problem. Ooh, especially with a chaos event coming. I'll risk it. So a few directions we can take this now. We could go for a oven to make bread if we want to grow this city, or we can go plantation olive oil and make a press, which gives pretty similar amounts of food, but also gives wealth. I think we'll go the bread route. We already have the infrastructure for the oven. So the market is completed. We definitely want to get the arts experience pumping now. So I'm going to grab the plaza because over the course, next era, we're going to need that arts experience. So it's good if we have like just a trickle of it. Just a trickle coming in. You know, sometimes it's a trickle. All you need is a trickle. That's what your mom always told me. Just a trickle will do. Let's go ahead and put a merchant into Fortaleza. This will increase its prosperity, which will basically increase the rate of resources that it produces for me, while also increasing its growth. You can see here its base growth rate is like 3.7% or 3.5%. We can increase that to 7% at 200%, and then I think 10.5%. So it is really, really fast. Or it's really, really important to get these cities growing faster because the amount of income you actually produce from them is based on their population. Quite important. I also want to upgrade these guys to cavalry to make them more useful. Cavalry units are a bit stronger. They do a bit more damage, you know, all that fun stuff. Next city on the agenda is York. Run down south and see what we can do. So there's horse tech. We need one more tech in this era. Scribes are a good one. Scribes set you up for the next era in that you can make paper makers, you can get the library, and you can get the scribe, which allows you to turn paper into knowledge. I do think I'm going to go for scribes to be able to push for the Age of Kings. I don't know what a civic monument is. We could push for the Age of Monuments, which is this thing right here. If I build this civic monument here, and I build one in Datong as well, we could push for the Age of Monuments, which is a really cool and fun age. You know what? I think that's what we're going to do. So let me pop into Calcutta. After we finish the plaza, we're going to go for the civic monument. Sorry, after the plaza, we'll go for the civic monument. Then in Datong, we're going to go for the civic monument, and we're going to use our gold to rush it if we can. A lot of fun things you can do in the era of monuments, particularly with your government experience. It's a really, really cool thing you can do. I refuse to go to neutrality with any of the players in the game. This is all war all the time. Oh, lovely. I'm starting to see these raider bands level up. Let's keep on fighting. Okay, York will deal heavy damage. Let's see how this goes for us. Okay. Didn't quite break the city. I could forced march. Can you guys continue attacking? Yes, perfect. 50 wealth looted, chaos gained, Japan eliminated. So turn 58, 2 players have been eliminated, and we own a significant chunk of the world, generating I would say a pretty reasonable amount of culture. Right now I'm generating 7 culture from my actual cities and about 0.4 from my vassals. So you can see why I haven't been prioritizing settling vassals. They don't actually do that much for you, but they will. Don't you worry. They will. It's all about time. That means Greece is my next target. I am curious about how Greece feels about us. So their power score is pretty similar to mine. They're a little bit weaker than me. So we'll need to figure out a way to conduct warfare against them in the Age of Monuments. We got a fire in Kobe and all it killed was a crane. I actually got off for free, dude. I actually got off for free. That's insane. They let me away with that? That was so much chaos that I caused. Declare war. Okay, so we need to kill the scout cavalry and we need to raid the city too. Now there's rebels in there, so we will take heavy damage. Okay, let's hold off for a turn and we'll attack together on the next turn. Loving it. These guys are starting to level up hardcore. Okay, let's build a oven. So I need to think about where my next town in the capital is going and what kind of town I want it to be. Could do another lumber town. 3 lumber tiles here, 3 here. I kind of prefer putting it here because that pushes the borders out a little further. Lumber towns are quite powerful, particularly if I'm going to have a paper/wood economy. So I could put a town right there. 3 lumber mills, another 6 production that scales. Yeah, I think that's the way that we're going to go. So I'm not going to go for the agricultural town here, even though these pastures would be cash money for it. Actually, if I were to go agricultural town right here, I could have 2 farms here and 2 pastures, which would give me an extra 8 food from this town, scaling up to 12. Would I rather have 12 food? No, I think the production is just better. Production is just way too strong. We will build the oven to improve our bread making capabilities. And now we're converting wheat into flour into bread. So effectively, 2 population was working grassland for 4 food, which just about feeds them, which, harvesting grassland, you better come out even. Once you're harvesting wheat, you can feed 3 pops with 2 of them. Then you convert that into flour. Flour is consumed for 6, and you get 2 of them, so you can support 6 population. Bread is consumed for 10, which allows you to, because you have 2 of them, support 10 population. So effectively, you go from being able to support 3 population to 6 population to 10 population with this production line. So that's why that's important. Whereas if I just built 4 farms, right, same number of tiles used, but it would only support 6 people, which is the same as the mill, but for 1 extra tile usage. So you can kind of see why, you do it this way. You get the production chains going. Now, if I were to build a farming town, the farming town gets, it's either +1 or +2 food from adjacent farms, which would allow us to generate, you build 1 farm and it's actually 5 food or 4 food. So you can support more population per farm, which is quite powerful. So I'm trying to think, this guy's going to take heavy damage. I'm going to attack with my cavalry first and see what happens. Cavalry have relatively low morale, so they should retreat before they take any severe losses. And in fact, we conquered the city and killed them. So that was perfect. Amaravati has been resecured. Our honor is restored. India is whole again. Fantastic. We could spawn another settler. I think I want to keep my capital below 10 population for a little while so I don't have to get sanitation for it. And I reckon there's an okay settlement up here to the north somewhere. Some of these cities should be fine. I'll probably annex Curitiba, even though Vijayanagara, actually it's an okay farming town. So yeah, I think we might annex this later. Plus it already has like a bunch of nice infrastructure in here. But yeah, let's pop out a settler. Boosh. We'll send it up north to claim this sort of like low quality farm, flat land over here. But yeah, with Japan and my other enemies defeated, we need to turn to Greece, I think, is our next target. We do have some sort of side quests we need to take care of, for lack of a better word, but I do think Greece is next. So what is Greece's ability? They went for God King dynasty and they're a kingdom. Greece shouldn't be too hard to kill, but I do need to wait until my units are consolidated. So I will give it a little while before I declare war. I need to clear up barbs up to my north and stuff. I've got barbs all over the place. I want the rewards. I want to get rid of them. So innovation pay homage. So we can get +4 wealth from farming towns. This is good over the course of a game, so I am going to take it. And I do plan to make a non-zero amount of farming towns. While right now it doesn't help me a whole lot, I think in the long term it will. So let's kill there. Ooh, the Diplo XP is the play here because that allows me to get another merchant to put into Curitiba. And I can start increasing this city's prosperity. This city's already producing a decent amount of stuff. Plus it's got improvements, so can make it grow better. All right, let's go ahead and slaughter these rebels. Perfect. We have secured our borders and now we can start moving troops back to the front line. I'm thinking I may spawn a pioneer to grab these 4 resources here. So let me do that. I'll spawn a pioneer in Fortaleza and move it up here to grab, because this is 2 copies of grapes. There's a little bit of rice here. There's also sheep. So that's a great place to import resources into the capital. I think anywhere you can get 2, if not 3 resources is a good pioneer. Here's another example. It's all farming resources, but can actually be useful. Right, let's culture rush and build another town for the capital. We'll pop it right there, boosh, and we'll queue up the expand town here. And this will be an important town. Again, for just maximizing the production and wood that we have access to. It's not the perfect long-term play if you're trying to really develop your economy, but it is a good short-term play, which gives you a lot of advantages in the meantime. And remember, stuff now is worth more than stuff later. It's a thing. People think that time is infinite. You have all the time of the world to build the ultimate late game. You'll never, but the game ends at some point. You got to be thinking about what's the most that I can get right now that I can turn into more stuff, and that's what you should take in a 4x game, because particularly if you're in a war heavy 4x game. Oh shoot, okay. I'll need to spawn some raiders here because there are barbarian cavalry attacking my cities. That's what I'm talking about when I'm dealing with barbs on every front. But I am farming a lot of experience from hostile actions in neutral territory, so I should be able to spawn more raiders soon. I don't like that he's transporting a scout cavalry there. I'm going to spawn a scout to escort my 2 civilians. Kolkata built the civic monument, and we're 2 turns from aging up. So I'm going to pop in here. I'll probably pay for it the turn that I want to age up, so that I don't have to... So I pay as little gold as possible because I don't have that much gold right now. Now, in Millennia, we want to be able to expand this town, but in Darjeeling, we're going to go ahead and grab ourselves a forester to get another stack of wood in here to keep pumping the production up, which should shave a turn off that. We are growing to the next pop level, which means we are going to need an aqueduct for sanitation. So I'll go aqueduct into granary, and then I won't forget to build a dwelling in a moment. I do think the public quarters is technically better, but the unrest means I have to build more civic guards. I don't want to have to do that. Oof. We got catapult and crossbowed. So the raiders are definitely falling off. They're not as strong as they used to be. This will probably be the last raider band that I spawn in the entire game. And it's purely just to defend my capital and clear out this barb camp, which I intend to settle upon. I think I'm going to go for Reap Scootage. I do think Order Research is really strong, but Reap Scootage will help me a lot with my gold income, which I do not have a lot of right now because my game is entirely preoccupied with building massive armies. And they will cost money to maintain. I'm going to begin skirmishing with Greece, however, in these borderlands, looking for free fights that I can take to farm warfare experience, and maybe look to switch either into the Mongols or into chivalry. Okay, I'm going to pop a dwelling next to Millennia, and then I'm going to use engineer. Oh, I don't have enough engineer. I saw diplomacy at 27. I didn't realize it wasn't enough. So there is scribes giving us access to better technology. Let's pop down to Datong. We're going to immediately rush that civic monument, and then technologically we're going to try to move into the Age of Monuments. We get a slight discount on moving into a different age than the Age of Kings. The Age of Monuments is pretty damn cool, so I'm hoping we can pull that off. A lot of really cool stuff you can do in the Age of Monuments. Okay, Spain, remain hostile, reject open borders. We're about to get a chaos event, so if we could trigger another cause of chaos right before this, it's like the best time to do it. Right before you get a chaos event is the best time to cause a bit of chaos. And here we go, perfect timing. We get a longsword who is a unit from the next era that has a triple attack versus line units. So this is going to be very much so an anti-city unit, the line unit. It has how do I and fixed. You can see here 100% rate, 3x attack versus unit type line. I don't know how to show you this, but city militia are line units. So this unit is extremely good at attacking cities because it doesn't suffer the combat penalty against walls. If I go into Kolkata and I show you palisade walls have double defense against cavalry. Datong has finished its construction. Now, is Darjeeling leveled up? It is. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that into a lumber town. And then I will build a forester because I really need production in Datong. Now, Datong is never going to get much more powerful than it is right now, right? It's going to stay about at this level. But if I get it a granary, it can get a lot of food. We can get a lot of punch out of this small city. And then we can just release it as a vassal. Okay, I can expand a town here. I think I'm going to expand Millennia because I want to turn that into a lumber town as well. Now, we're a little bit stretched for improvement points, but this is not an empire designed to produce a lot of removement points. This is an empire designed to be ahead technologically and maintain a strong grip on power. Now, there's a really high chance we get a chaos event next turn. 80% regional efficiency for 5 turns isn't the worst, so I'll take that L. It's a nasty hit. It's basically 20% of our yields are hit. It's not the worst. It's not great. It's not ideal, but we can live with it. It's fine. Okay, checking out this area. I got a little bit of a problem with some barbs. I don't know where he came from because there are no camps up here. But this, I want to build not a city. I wanted to build an outpost, and then I'm going to volunteer a spear to defend it because otherwise they're just too easy to kill. And eventually we'll get these improved. But this is also just another sort of like cog in the machine of my empire. And then I'll run this scout plus you over here. And the hope is that this guy is like, oh, I see a spearman. Let me attack the spearman. And yeah, maybe it'll work out for me. I'm trying to bait my enemies into attacking me on this hill because if I attack them, I think I'll take quite a bit of damage because they'll have the defensive boost. But if I have the defensive boost, it'll work in my favor and that'll be really nice. It's all about just dangling juicy targets on your opponents to manipulate them into taking the bait. Okay, so the Ottoman Empire is starting to move into the Age of Kings, which means I need to think about whether or not I want to do a Eureka for 25 science, and I might want to. All right, let's murk these barbs. Okay, there's this little notorious barb camp that's been causing me so many issues. I say so many issues, it's been causing me issues. And now I feel like I need a tissue. All right, let's go ahead and take on this barb camp as well. I'm using crossbows on this. They will kill the wall really slowly, but they'll instantly kill this guy, which is perfect. 15 knowledge right now, injected into my economy. Inject it directly into my veins, bro. Bruh. I might be able to get another merchant. I can. I think it would be good to develop Kobe. So I'm going to spawn a merchant in Kobe and tell him to deploy to develop the prosperity of this town. So basically, when this prosperity, which is going to increase by 10% per turn, reaches 300%, all of these numbers will triple. So I will get almost a full point of culture. I'll get like 3 gold, but also the city will grow and develop faster. You can see right now it's developing 4.5% per turn. If I come back and we take a quick glance at Fortaleza, it's up to 200%. Its borders are expanding and it's now growing at 8% per turn, which is quite a bit faster than 3.5. So it's going to hit its next population faster, and those pops are going to be worth more. So deploying merchants into your vassals is actually, it's really important for the long-term development of your vassals. Plus, every merchant deployed actually generates 5 gold. You can see here, plus 5 from deployed units. They're all meant to develop 5 gold. Sometimes you might have to like pop them out and then pop them back in. They can be a little finicky sometimes. But yeah, in theory, they should all make you 5 gold each. All right, let's settle another vassal city over here. Bangalore has been dropped. Get the hell out of my face, you annoying barbs. So now I'm hoping that I can use my high experience barbarian squadron to try to avoid death by fighting these guys. And it looks like they did just about avoid death. And then we can move in for the kill with this other squad, push them back a tile, and then catch them off guard with this squad of barbarians. Boom. All without spending any warfare experience and generating warfare experience that I can use for reinforcements and forced march, or potentially if I want to go into the Mongol sort of the horse raider direction in the next era. Okay, so Kolkata, I will drop a forester here to get production to keep pumping. We're about to need sanitation in here. We already did build the sanitation building, which I'm quite happy about. The Age of Monuments, we're slightly ahead of the Ottomans, but it's very hard to stay ahead of the curve, man. You got to be focusing on that science. And like, we're trying to maintain our science while we're also in the middle of like a bunch of wars and doing all sorts of crazy stuff. But in the next era, we should be able to pop the fuck off across a variety of dimensions. Okay, looks like we managed to hold our outpost with a single spear guard. Really glad that we're getting really good defensive adjustments from being in here. All right, let's wipe out this barb camp here. It should be easy pickings. The wealth would be nice to buy me a little bit of buffer time on my gold drain. Because remember, my economy is essentially tanking. A lot of my income was effectively pillage from continuous warfare. Finally, my crossbows are done dealing with the barbs to the north. So we've pacified our lands, and it's time. It's time to start thinking about the next war. We can catch these spears off guard. That's another 8 warfare experience. Just every little fight that we can take, every little shred, we can bide our time till the perfect moment to strike. The Tong has finished its granary, so now it's growing despite the fact that it's practically working no food aside from this fishing boat. Does it even need that fishing boat right now? Probably does not. So we could get another forester, take you off the fishing boat and put you on the forester, and we're still growing at 100% thanks to the granary. We've got nice overflow here. Now, we're generating 0 science out of this city. I'm going to grab the seat of power for the government experience and the diplomacy experience, and then I'm going to grab the council, and then after that I'll probably grab like the temple. Need to build ourselves up a little. Okay, we got a couple of spears, so we want to avoid the spearmen with our cavalry. I do like to build monoculture armies. I think it has downsides, but I think just having a sort of unified doctrine on a unit stack will perform better against, like, let's say you had an army and you had 2 crossbowmen and 2 pikemen. They're going to perform better than an army of just 4 pikemen, right? Because the crossbowmen are doing double damage to the pikemen, but they're going to perform worse than that pikeman army against a group of 4 crossbows. Does that make sense? Or whatever way you need to. They would perform better than both. What would they perform worse against? Wait a minute. I need to think about this. I didn't think that through. Never mind that. Listen, ignore this. I need to think it through. I need to do the maths in my head. So we can reap scutage here. I think I'm going to go for order research because I want to be able to push that knowledge, this technology ability through. I'm scared of how close the Ottomans are. I hate doing this, but I think to secure the next era, I'm going to pop a Eureka so that I get it this turn. I hate doing it because it's the low value move, but it is what I've done, and I've made peace with my decision. Oh my god, that barbarian archer shredded one of my raider bands. Shocking. Not that shocking. I mean, archers counter line infantry. But you can see why these raider bands are just like, they're falling off, man. They're not completely useless. Like, they do act as basically free garrisons for, like, my vassals and my outposts and stuff. Yeah, they're not the most powerful garrisons, but they're free. They help me maintain the order. Kolkata has finished the library. We could build a slightly larger military. However, I'm worried about the amount of gold that we're producing. Let's have a look at the worker situation. We're working 1 unimproved tile. I think it makes sense to go for more foresters. Sanitation is taken care of, at least for now. I guess building the walls is fine. I think I'll quickly build the watch. No, I'll put one turn into I'll put a turn into a city guard, and that's for a variety of reasons. First of all, the city guard makes me look better defended. It makes my military look stronger, and it actually lowers unrest as well. So a couple of reasons I'll go for that. But here we are. We're in the age of monuments, 680 BCE. So there's a lot of really cool things about the Age of Monuments. First of all, you can build and dedicate monuments in all of your cities. Second of all, you can build super monuments that generate really good resources. We also get free improvement points. We get culture from religion. And that is going to be something we work on. We are going to be looking to found a religion here in the not too distant future. But now we have to have a really big discussion about domains. So I have the option to continue my militaristic sort of consumption direction by going with the Khans, right? Now, when I take this, I would spawn a fearsome Khan unit in my territory who has like a lot of really interesting power. So, for example, right, horse archers, they do 20% more damage if they're in a battle with a Khan. Now, keep in mind, they also are not ranged units. These are line units. So they're melee units, ostensibly. Now, let me just kind of compare those technologically, right? With, say, a crossbow mercenary, which is 22 attack, 22 damage. Or, well, I guess they don't, or here's boom. 22 attack, 22 damage. They do 2.5 against line. And then you'd have the knight, which is 27, 21. So we're talking somewhere between 40, 44, and 48 total combat power for the units in the Age of Monuments. Okay, that's what we're looking at in the total combat power. Now, if we take a look at these barbarian warlord units, they have a total power of 23, 29 with a little bit of extra. So the Khans in total, right now, they have really good defense actually for units of their era. They have really, really high defense. They're good at taking damage, so they're relatively tanky, and they're strong against cavalry. They will have a total combat power of, 47. So they're on par with a knight, okay? They're basically non-cavalry knights that I would get access to basically immediately. And I could also go neutral with barbarians, although I don't think I would want to. I would want to keep fighting barbarians to get the warfare experience from fighting them. Although you can incite barbarians to spawn next to enemy settlements to be annoying. But there is a power of the Khan to convert adjacent barbarian camps into horse archers, which is fairly powerful. The other thing is the Khan can get stronger and spawn more horse archers. Horse archers can actually get better too as we get further into this. So the horse archer, it might start as a 49 combat strength unit, but it will end up as a 57 combat strength unit. Never mind like leadership bonuses, attack bonuses, all that sort of stuff. And eventually we can just spawn more horse archers. Now here's the thing, we only get to keep the Khan for 50 turns. So we've got 50 turns to make this worth it. This is very much so we got to make shit go down right now. Now, on the other hand, chivalry is a little bit more of a let's sit back and build up sort of situation here. Now, when I say sit back and build up, I don't necessarily mean that we're going to be sitting on our laurels. What I mean is it's going to be a little bit less straight to war, because chivalry will give us 150% vassal population growth, right? So our vassals will grow faster, thus getting us more resources. And we will get the Call Banner's culture power, which will allow us to spawn 2 peasants that are really, really weak line units, but we can spawn a lot of them. That's the big deal here, is you can spawn a lot of them very quickly and send them off to battle. Now, there's also the ability to turn peasants into knights, and knights, or how do I show you? I think it's here. Yeah, you can see the knight, 27 combat strength, 21 defense. There are some really interesting things you can do with chivalry. We'll get access to the tapestry weaver to be able to generate arts experience, which is basically how you fill out this tree if you want. We can also go for taverns, which will give us +1 mead, which gives a little bit of food, but also unrest suppression if we need it. We can also grant a fief, which spawns a settler and 1 knight in a capital. Now, this is a culture power. So this effectively allows us to circumvent the settler limit in the domain powers here, because you can only spawn one of these every 15 turns. So there's a lot of power to taking chivalry here if we wanted to mass expand our empire. Now, the final bit of benefit here is that our castles will generate more culture and wealth, and castles are basically a unique version of the outpost. It costs you a little bit of engineering experience to kind of upgrade outposts into it, but it makes them much more defensible, much harder to kill, and they generate defenders. So those are the 2 main things that I'm considering here. There are like things to be said if you want to go for theologians. I think I showed a game as a theologian. It's quite a powerful one, I would say, as is Crusaders, which is another one that I've also done. Really good if you're facing off a bunch of people who have also gotten religions, because you get less religion on conquest. You get conversion when you kill them. You get the special version of the Knight of the Order, which is basically just a knight that's a little bit stronger. And then eventually you can just spawn stacks of them with culture, which you can get a lot of culture from the religion bonus that you'll get here, right? Double culture bonus from controlling additional religious birthplaces. I don't think anyone else has spawned a religion yet, but that probably will happen eventually. Things I'm not really considering. I'm definitely not considering Explorer. This is cool if you want to get early access to explorers and discover landmarks early and kind of do some really interesting stuff with that and do your expeditions. You'll get access to the Canar unit, which I think is a line naval unit that is a little bit stronger than both you'll find in this era. You will get the Explorers Guild, which gives you knowledge and exploration experience for every expedition you complete. Barbarians will become neutral. You'll get better chances for expeditions, and you'll also get access to the remote camps, which is basically an entirely new spawn of tribal villages. Yeah, I think Explorers is potentially fun, but it's not really the kind of way that I want to go this game now. And similar for engineering, right? Engineering is really cool. You get the Iron Prospector, you get lots of bonus from coal, you get extra wealth from building furnacers, you have access to things like the Tinkerer, which allows you to turn tools into machines, although I don't think this is a particularly good trade deal. It could be something that's worth working occasionally. The Clock Tower is pretty cool, gives you luxury. And also the Trebuchet. I think this is unique because it's a siege unit that does something. I think it actually has like a ranged attack. Yeah, I think it has like a siege attack that allows you to attack people without actually going into battle, like bombarding. So machinery is pretty cool. Shogunate is pretty cool. I actually really like Shogunate for certain types of games. The daimyos are insane. You can put a daimyo in your city and it just makes your city 10% better in every category. Like you get 10% more production, 10% more food, 10% more housing. It's just like, it's actually like, this is sick. Shogunate is insanely powerful. You also get access to samurai, which are super good line units that are particularly strong if they're in battle with a daimyo. Sorry, if they're in battle with your shogun, not your daimyo. And your shogun is like a military leader type unit. Shogunate is actually in theory a good direction for us to take here because they're good at declaring war, right? You don't get unrest from declaring wars. You have a relatively strong melee unit and you make your cities better. And it also gives you diplomacy experience, which is, pretty good. Spice merchants, I don't think I'm going to go for. This one gets you like +5 wealth on your outposts. You can have free defenders for your outposts. This is a pretty decent caravan guard unit. You'll get access to spice, which is a unique resource, a desert-based good. It's good if you want to. It's good if you spawned kind of like near a. This isn't a very big desert, but like sometimes big deserts will spawn, and if you spawn near it, the merchants are actually pretty good because there'll often be a lot of resources in there that you can take advantage of, like the spice. It also lets you convert your merchants to settlers and your settlers to merchants, and it makes your trading posts basically free. Trading posts, if you're not aware, are the improvements that you can build in outposts. So if I come down here and I were to click this, I would just do this for free, which is crazy good. It's very, very powerful. It has some unique power associated with it, in my opinion, but we're not going to go for that. Nay. Look, here's the thing. I do think that going for chivalry here wouldn't be a bad idea. And it would be really cool. It would make our empire very powerful. This population growth thing would be crazy powerful. But here's the thing. This is a war game. I'm going cans. I got to. So we're going to immediately spawn horse archers in our capital. We're not going to go for incite conflict. We don't want to do that quite yet. And so this is the group of units that it literally just spawned, right? We've got our Khan here, who is a line unit with 24 attack, 30 defense, a little bit more than these other troops. He's got a tactics of 4. So he is this the 4th era? Yeah, this is the 4th era. So he's basically like a leader unit from this era, which means for every point of tactics different from your enemy, whoever has more gets a 10% buff, up to 50%. So if I have 4 more tactics than you, I will do 40%. I'll have 40% more stats, right? Like, so my attack will be. So he is quite powerful. This is quite a powerful little stack here. They're good against militia units. They get health when they win victories. Like compare this 195 combat power on a vanilla and a brand new stack here, and compare that to, let's say, I had one of these barbarian stacks that I made that was fairly fresh. Yeah, here we go. Here's a fresh barbarian stack. It's 116. So these are twice as good as my barbarian stacks. And remember, in this game, being twice as good doesn't mean that you can kill 2 times as many of these units. It means you can kill 4 times as many because you do twice as much damage and you take half as much damage. That's really, really important to remember that. So very, very strong units. Okay. Now, in terms of technologies that we want to pick up here, we definitely want to dip back into the Age of Bronze and grab mining and shipbuilding. It'll take us 2 turns. They're old techs. We'll get them done real quick. I don't think we want to clear barb camps anymore. We want to kill barbarians, but we don't want to clear the barb camps because we can convert those barb camps into useful things with the Unite the Tribes action. I'll probably get that eventually, but not right now. For now, I'm going to go for Keshig to make my Khan stronger, and then I'll go for composite bows to make my horse archer stronger. I want to put as much combat power into a single stack as possible, which is why the second I'm finished researching mining and shipbuilding, I'm going to immediately start working on mercenaries so I can put a 5th unit in my armies. So I'm also going to make a save right here so we can talk a little bit about like the unique monument mechanic in the Age of Monuments, because you can't actually see what these things do before you place them. Oh, I might have to do that next turn. Yeah, I don't have the improvement points, so I'll wait until next turn and I can show you some cool stuff here. Okay, I'm going to keep these, where are my stacks of raiders? Yeah, I want to bring all my raiders up to help with the initial attack on Greece. I'm going to try to storm his capital as hard as possible to farm a bunch of experience to spawn as many horse archers as possible and basically convert my old kind of out-of-date army into a much more in-date army. Okay, so we definitely want to get the treasury in Kolkata. It's plus 10 gold per turn, just straight up. Takes 5 turns, gives us 10 gold per turn. Amazing. Another thing we might want to start thinking about is integrating Curitiba. When we integrate Curitiba, that is going to cost us 4 culture per turn, which is a decent amount, considering Datong is only making 2 per turn right now. But we are going to start finding more ways to generate culture soon. Okay, I don't know why I got a pioneer in my capital. Ah, right, it's because I researched mining. Excellent. Yeah, let's do shipbuilding as well. And now I can actually show you the monument stuff. So let me quickly save the game. There we are. So if I build the monument here, so the monument doesn't do much, right? You work it, you gain 1 culture. However, there are things you can do with it. So for example, if I were to dedicate this warfare to monument, or to warfare rather, you can have one of these per city. When I dedicate this to warfare, now it gives me 1 warfare XP and 1.2 production efficiency. So I just get 20% more production. Now, unfortunately, I can't undo that action, so I do have to make the save file to kind of show you more. We can also dedicate it to engineering. And you see here, we get 1 engineering XP and 1.2 improvement points efficiency. This is definitely, in my opinion, one of the weakest ones, and I super do not think it should be taken. But like, if you really want to, you can. There's no real way to turn improvement points into anything else, so I don't know why you would ever want that one. That one is terrible, and I think it should be changed. Diplomacy, if I remember, isn't that bad because it's money. Yeah, you get 1.2 times wealth efficiency, 1.2 times luxury efficiency, as well as diplomacy XP. It's pretty okay, right? I will show you arts and exploration. I think arts is 1.2 times culture efficiency and exploration is science efficiency, but the really good one is government. And I cannot wait to show you the government one because it's so good. It's so good. I'm going to need a couple of turns to actually get some experience though. So where do I want to put this pioneer? Ooh, I could pick up some gold here. Yeah, I think I'm going to send my pioneer to go grab this gold because I can import that into my capital for a lot of benefits. So how is Datong doing? It's doing just fine. We're going to need in here a public quarters for housing, which also means we're going to need to get a few more civic guards to defend the city. And I'm just going to do that anyway. It'll make me look scarier and stronger to my enemies. Okay, we've got a rival to the throne, so we're going to spawn a pike and a knight at every region in Rome. I'm going to reject their proposal. Now, that's a decent amount of combat power. Our units should, in theory, be able to defend this without too much trouble. But I don't think it's like the rebellion. It's not going to cost me a huge amount. Now, I don't want my Khan to get caught up, but an opportunity to get a little bit of experience on him as well as a kill, I will gladly take. All right, let's get those kills. I'll send a couple of my warbands out to try to deal with these and try to prevent too much damage to my economy. Unfortunately, I am going to need another volunteer over here to keep this outpost safe. And I will upgrade you to a pike. So this outpost is now safe. It's just important that I save that because engineers are hard to come by and you don't want to lose your pioneers. I could have upgraded the Khan here, but you know, grumble. So yeah, the Pretender to the Throne is an annoying event. Forced March also got more expensive this era, which is not ideal. It's a less efficient action. Okay, perfect. There's shipbuilding. Let's go ahead and close that and go ahead and start working on mercenaries. Now we do need to pump up our science a little bit. We could order research. Oh, I can show you Dedicate Monument now. Well. Yes. So the best one, in my opinion, is the government monument because it is food, housing, and sanitation efficiency, as well as a government experience point, which allows you to spawn settlers, right? It's very, very powerful. It basically means these 3 needs are just easier to take care of. Like, this farm is worth 20% more food. This dwelling is worth 20% more housing. And I think that that is just neat and powerful. The fact that we get a government experience off it too means we can play around with some of these things a little bit more. We can go up to like install satrap, reform our kingdom a little bit easier, which means we're going to be able to order a lot more research and do all those sorts of things. I think this is great for developing cities. I do think the warfare dedication is also fantastic for like just steaming through. But in my opinion, the fact that you will grow faster with the food, housing, and sanitation efficiency, right? It means you can work more productive tiles anyway. So you're going to end up in a better place production-wise than if you just went straight up. Although 20% production is insane for the warfare one. Let me just be clear there. Can you switch it? You can't switch it, sadly. But yeah, I don't know. I think the government one is powerful. I really like it because I don't actually need more production. I need more pops in here so I can work more tiles and have a more sort of diverse economy. We're going to be seeing a lot of combat this turn as our cities are attacked. Some cities will struggle, but most should be fine. It will definitely do some damage to our economy. I'll grab the lookout and the palisade walls in Datong to make it a little bit better defended. I'll send my weak, under-leveled stack back to deal. And we're going to go ahead and declare war on Greece. It's going to be a surprise war. Is it really a surprise, though? I have been, like, foreshadowing my intentions for quite a while. Ooh, I will take a free experience point on these units, though, to get them closer to leveling. What do we got here? Spear crossbow leader. All right, we'll take that outpost. All right, my envoy has done his job over here. I'm going to move him up to Kobe to not exactly start annexing it, but like move that in the direction. I think annexing people's capitals is always a good idea because they usually have the most infrastructure. The other big thing I really like about arts is those peasants that you can spawn, they actually just act as great garrison units against all the rebellions you might run into when you're expanding. But the die has been cast, as they say. Okay, I'm watching all these combats to just check in case any of my infrastructure actually gets destroyed. Fukuoka, I'm a tiny little bit worried about, but I think more or less we've weathered the storm of this rebellion. Now, my enemy attacked me on the hill, and I'm really glad that he attacked me when I was on the hill, because it means I had that 20% buff of damage on my side. So even though I lost, technically speaking, I feel like I came out on top, because now I'm going to be able to attack downhill with my crossbows and slaughter him at little to no cost of my own. Now, I am a little bit scared of retribution. I'm going to go ahead and take Keshig on my Khan, which does give him the ability to spawn horse archers. However, it uses his entire turn. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a forced march on him and get him up to the fight. Remember, he has a limited number of turns you can actually use him, so you got to get him up there quick. I'm going to create another fishing boat for the city of Datong to keep it fed. It seems to be weathering the storm reasonably well. A lot of my improvements are on fire now, which sucks, don't get me wrong, but it's definitely a manageable problem to have. Okay, nice. All my cities are holding, which I'm happy about. My Khans could attack here or here. Medium damage, light damage, and I will do medium damage. Let's do medium damage. It's a little bit worse than medium damage, but we have the capability of spawning reinforcements directly. There's a nice outpost here in between these three resources, so I will go ahead and spawn a pioneer here with the goal of claiming these hills. We could deal heavy damage and take no damage here. Would put us into a vulnerable position, so I'm just going to fall back and play defensively. Let things unfold as they may. Play it slow. Remember, we're up against a pretty hard AI here. So we finished the treasury in the capital. We've restored the production lines here. I'm going to export a lumber to the city of Datong to help it get itself under control and back on form. The culture is way more important to me right now than the food, and there's no real improvements I can do to this city until I have more population. But this +1 culture doesn't sound like much, but how else do I get culture? Let me just ask you that, right? If I want to get culture right now, all right, let's see. I don't see anything in here that gives culture. Let's see, culture. Stonework? Nope, that's all production, improvement points, textile. Oh, culture? Nope, that's wealth. A scribe? Nope, that's wealth, that's knowledge. I don't see a way to get culture. There's no culture here. Oh, wait, here we go. 2 grapes or rice to wine. So if I want to get culture in this city, I have to improve grapes and then turn it into wine. Or I can just work this monument and get the culture. It's so nice. Super nice. For now, I'm going to levy workers in this city, so I have a ton of improvement points because I have nothing else I really need to build. I mean, I could, in theory, build the wall and the watch, but I consider these kind of like semi-dead buildings unless we're really under attack. The towers honestly do most of the defense I need in my capital sort of style buildings. Now, in Datong, on the other hand, I needed those walls because a little bit of a rebellion here, and I don't have the time to build an army. But we super need to increase our knowledge and culture. So we're going to be picking up the temple, +1 knowledge, +1 culture. And we're also going to be picking up the library for the +1 knowledge. So we'll queue both of those up. That'll speed up our tech rate. We'll be able to get mercenaries and the techs that come after that a lot faster. +1 knowledge at this phase of the game doesn't sound like much. All right, this is a great catch for my army. It's a lone crossbow. Sure, he's in defensive terrain, so he'll do a lot of damage, but he's been caught out on his own. I can also grab this city right here. Now my Khan can catch another kill. Now the first few turns of this war is going to be slow, but once we start picking up the composite bows, the horse archer, +4 attack and defense, and we get to call to war and stuff like that, it'll start getting going, man. Remember, call to war spawns 2 horse archers in each friendly region. Crazy good if we can make it to it. It's predicting that we're only going to take light damage if we attack here. You have to be careful about the predictor though. It's a finicky mistress. There is a single crossbow here, but we should be able to shred their line units. Yeah, we shredded them. Okay, the game wants me to spawn a settler, spawn 2 spears at a vassal. No, I think I want the install satrap. That 5% vassal prosperity per turn is big. It's basically like having half a trader in every city. Like right now, this trader is giving me 10%. It would get 15% afterwards. Fortaleza is now officially at 300% prosperity, and it's now limited by region level. It will eventually build a granary to grow itself. I can also give it a town to allow it to grow, and putting a single town into a vassal is not a terrible idea in my opinion. But more importantly, that does mean it's time to eject this merchant and send him to another city. I'm going to send him over to Amaravati, because I'm never going to annex that city. Part of the reason you want to increase the prosperity in these towns is so that when you annex them, they actually have buildings, because they build buildings faster when you increase their prosperity. And I am looking to maybe annex Curitiba soon. All right, let's have a look. Do I want to spawn a settler? I do think it would be good to get a little settler over here. I think there's something to be said. Then again, I could also construe that as a good direction to actually expand my city itself. I mean, these particular tiles aren't that important, so having like a tiny little vassal here slowly working them should be okay. So tell you what, I'm gonna spawn a settler here, meet him up with that swordsman, and we'll take them. Oh, there's a pioneer here as well. Whoops, let me go ahead and pull that pioneer back. That pioneer was meant to go up here to claim that gold. Let's get the forester here, because with Millennia, that'll be worth another 2 production from the town adjacency. I'm also going to build what exactly? Oh yes, we need to build our super monument. I'm going to put that right next to the capital. It's the most defensible tile in the city, right next to the capital. So I'll destroy this, and I'll put a new housing area up here, nice dwelling. And then for the special, we'll put the super monument in there. Now, I'm going to stop exporting because I'm going to be taking 2 people off of foresters to work the super monument, because this is an age objective. If you can complete the super monument, and it takes 50 turns to complete, I believe, you get a bonus. You can speed it up with certain technologies. I don't remember. Yeah, here we go. Buy raw materials. You can speed it up. Right, my pioneer over here is in position. I'm going to go ahead and plonk him down. This is for 2 really nice reasons. It gives me a place to reinforce and recuperate my troops off the front line. Like these crossbows, I can pull them back slightly. And I'm going to stick a raider in here because one of my crossbows got killed in this battle. But the law of attrition here, I think I came out on top, killing, like doing so much damage to them. Because now I can counterattack with my raider bands. Well, we might not actually get that many kills. I'll do some work. We got attacked over here. It was a single crossbow. Managed to hold them. What are we fighting here? We got a leader, a cavalry, a crossbow, and a pike. They're going to be good at everything we throw at them. So better to just catch units on their own and slaughter them, like this crossbow. That way we get the 8 experience. Rather than trying to attack where the enemy is strong, attack where they're weak. And try to use the terrain to your advantage. Ooh, I would love another pioneer right here to get these delicious resources sent back to the capital. Speaking of getting resources sent back to the capital, here we go. I'm going to build a trading post on this iron. And now, if I link this region to Kolkata, and I come back to Kolkata, my capital has iron being consumed for 2 production, and has 2 copies of it. So that effectively just created 4 production in my capital, which is now getting fed into the Levy Workers program to get more improvement points, which I can then improve more production, which I can feed back to the capital. And you see how that works? It creates a very nice circle. Similarly, if I can get like this rice online, I don't need farms in the capital anymore because I'm just pulling in that food from this outpost over here. I think the first thing I'm going to do with culture this era is to found a religion. It's an important thing to do culturally because it gets you out. It's one of the biggest mid-game boosts to culture. All right, I'm hoping this attack goes well. We are up against a couple crossbows, and it did go well. It did. If I attack with these two, will it work? I'm hopeful we can rout him. We'll take a little damage, I hope. Okay, yeah, that did help. Counterattacks are painful, but a necessary part of the progress. Okay, we got an innovation. We can get trade roads, which gives our outposts +5 wealth, or we can get 600. Now, I currently have 2 outposts, soon to be 3, possibly 4. That'd be 5 gold per turn. So +5 wealth from outposts would take, a single outpost would take 120 turns to repay it. This feels like it'll repay itself very quickly, these outposts. Right, okay. In cans, we are going to, we need to attack first. Boom, we killed them. I can't quite afford that just yet, okay? Can I get this kill? Perfect. Now we've got enough, right? So now we're going to take composite bows for the +4 attack, +4 defense on horse archers. And we're one step closer to call to war. That's going to be like the call to Armageddon. Okay, my infantry will take heavy damage if I fight here, but my cavalry will only take medium damage. So I'm going to fight with my cavalry first to soften up this enemy. Perfect, we softened them up, and now we can finish them with a raider band. So we are burning through our raider band reserves very quickly, but that was the goal. We'll use the raider band as our melee to keep our crossbows safe, just for a round. So he'll tank a hit, and then our crossbows will unleash. Okay, let's culture rush and then found a religion in Kolkata. I guess. Oh, I'll pick a little shamrock. Oh wow, there's actually some really cool ones in here. Petition for the developer to put my avatar in the game. I'm just saying, is that Pyrian Flax? Is that P-Flax right there? Looks like him. Okay, our custom religion is Pyrianism, and our place of worship is in the trench. Excellent. Right, our city, it doesn't look like it's too on fire right now. Okay, yeah. We wanted to settle an outpost right there. And the next thing we're going to do is improve this iron. I want to spawn a merchant up in Bangalore. Yeah, I guess I'll do Bangalore. I'll spawn a merchant at Bangalore to improve the prosperity up here and build it up. Yeah, let's see if we can take out these militia units. Whew. Took a little damage there. That's okay. Maybe a single raider can finish the job. Come on, raider, you're my guy. Perfect. There's that surrounding town blasted. I think it is a good idea to do the pillaging, which I am surprised does not give you chaos. However, I do not want to give the developers ideas. All right, you found Epidaurus. We're going to clean that up next turn. I'll use this raider band to take out this pikeman. The pikeman is pretty strong, but it's a bunch of experience we can grab. We should also be able to smash Epidaurus with our units because they do really good damage against militia. I think my horse archers, their base attack, right, if you look at this horse archer, base attack of 23. Against the militia, thanks to all the buffs, it has a base attack of 46.37. That's insane. Okay, we destroyed the town. We looted a bunch. Olympia has been sort of trying to think of a polite way to describe a economic haircut. Let's go ahead and attack Olympia so we can kind of continue the haircut analogy. There we go, lovely. The city is effectively broken and we can step in with our crossbows to finish the job. Boom. 170 wealth, 80 wealth looted, 20 chaos gained. I'd call that a job well done. Now, let's build the Tongs Monument here. Let's make sure we repair all of these things and we will dedicate this to the government. Because remember, this generates government XP, which is brilliant. That is exactly what we're looking for. So Kolkata is starting to spread Pyrianism. We will need more faith eventually. We'll have to start building it up. I think it's every pop above 5 requires 1 faith. Yeah, there it is. So we are going to need to start turning some of this wood into paper and then the paper into religious texts. That's a job for another day. Our primary target is our enemies' armies, because if we can catch them when they're small, we can prevent them from gathering together and becoming a real threat to us. All right, let's move in on Syracuse. We'll take medium damage. I'll tell you what, I'll attack with my crossbows first because they'll be able to shoot over the walls and soften up these militia. They'll just do a normal retreat and then it should be a very, very simple matter of crushing the city with these melee raiders. There's another city grant, Chaos. Remember, this city, it doesn't do much, but it does generate just a trickle of income. And we're starting to reach the point of snowballing where our economy, our power, our stuff is slowly becoming insane. All right, we'll take out this enemy trading post. Skadoosh, there it goes. Okay, let's settle this city right here. Hyderabad. Now let's have the swordsman protected. Greece is already crumbling like a delicious biscuit. Who's a delicious biscuit? Yes, you are, Greece. Yes, you are. Datong has completed the library. I think the natural next progression is to grab something like the encampment for the passive warfare experience. All right, let's blow up Mycenae. It's the nice town, and we want to see it gone. Boom, it's gone. We grab a bunch of money out of it. Ooh, the pikemen in that city makes things a little bit more complicated than I want it to be, so I'm going to hold off on attacking. However, the fact that we have now gotten a religion, we're making a lot of culture from religious population. We're also making a little bit of culture from the trench, which I think comes from owning the homeland of the religion. Let's go ahead and integrate Tiba. Wait, 1 second. I want to check something. Is the actual religious birthplace? So it gives you 10 religious happiness or whatever. Okay, so if we swing up to Curitiba, let's integrate the city. And so now we can start to develop this sort of in the image of my other cities as well. It's going to need some serious work. This town right here, I think works best as either a mining town dedicated to improvement points or as a farming town to feed the city. I could get 4 adjacency on the mining town stuff. So I think that's what I'm going to go for. Let's go ahead and expand this town. We're going to make it a mining town. I will gather clay from all around it, and that will get me +6 production in the city. I will plonk a public quarters right here for the housing. Now that does mean unrest will start to be a problem very quickly. However, our production line in here will allow us to just build some city guards to protect the city. And I will send this merchant on up to Kyoto. So we're up to 3 cities now, and it probably won't be too long until we retire Datong for favor of a city with more potential, like Kobe. But it will take another little while for us to actually integrate Kobe. I'm going to go ahead and put, do I want a quarry or a mine? I guess stonecutters. I'll go to mine for now, and I just want that extra adjacency because it gains adjacency from all of these buildings. I guess I will take a kiln, but we need to sort out the food here. And I think one of the best ways to get food is from plantations. The forester is fine. We're going to delete this clay pit. We will build a plantation here. Let's see, right? We want to work these 2 plantations, a pasture. We will foreign import culture because that effectively we spend 8 gold to lower this down to -4 from regions, right? So it takes a little bit of a hit off our culture situation. In terms of food, we are going to need to deal with food in this city. Part of the way we'll deal with that is by grabbing a granary when we finish building these civic guards. For now, the city will continue to grow, even though it's a little bit light on food. And I think this is a really good production line with a lot of potential to grow. All right, we cut a crossbow with his pants down. Let's go ahead and attack Delphi with our main horse archer and Khan army. Didn't quite take the city, but that's okay. We're mainly trying to save up for this call to war because I really want to click the button. I really want to click the Armageddon button. Right, okay, chaos from the druids. This will lower the food bonus from these things where I can pay 600 gold. I will take, it's 5 turns of bad food, mainly only affecting my capital. And so that's fine. It's fine if the food isn't so great. I think I would like to do a domestic export to Curitiba. And I'll send them one of our irons. I want most of the production. Well, actually, do I want most of the production to remain in the capital? I actually don't. So I tell you what I'll do. Rather than export that, I'll export a single log, and then I'll come over to this outpost, and I'll change the linked region to Curitiba. And now all that iron is heading over here, which is basically a free 8 production for that city. Also, I'll build a trading post on the gold, because that's going to be worth another 8 gold too, which, you know, every little bit of our economy increase is an increase to our economy. I will make a trading post, and I would like to change this to Kolkata. And on the rice, and the reason I want to build it on rice is because in theory now, I need 1 less farm to get the bread that I need. So I could kill this. And now if we look, we've 1 unemployed person and 1 spare person. So let's gather the olives and then press them into cooking oil. Actually, I changed my mind. Did I change my mind? Yes, I did. I'm going to grab a midden for the sanitation to keep my population happy. And then with my spare pop, what do I do with a spare population? What do we do with a spare population? What do we do with a spare population? What do we do with a spare population early in the morning? I actually don't know. I don't know a good answer to that. So taking a look at Datong, we got the encampment. Let's grab the plaza for the arts experience and the market for the Diplo experience. Those experience points do matter quite a lot. Right, Sigtuna is next. We shall smash them. Our horse got beat. That's okay, because our enemies will quake at the march of our feet. I don't know when I turned into a cheerleader, but the city should crumble now. Oh wow, a shocking revolution. However, I do have the call to war power Excellent. Bring on the horse archers. Here they come. Now, it only spawns it on cities that are actually fully annexed. Sometimes regions refers to every city, and sometimes regions only refers to cities that are like in your direct control. So effectively, I spawned 6 horse archers there, which ain't bad. 6 horse archers does the job. All right, let's break this city. Boom. All right, regional capital conquered. Oh man, these warbands have managed to get to maximum level. I'm impressed. Kind of wish they could be turned into horse archers. Developer, please let it happen. Okay, the Ottomans want to restore neutrality. I will remain hostile. I'm going to go ahead and pay 25 warfare experience to spawn another horse archer, and then we'll move him next turn. It just makes the army roughly 25% stronger to do that. So that is why I chose to. All right, let's attack with our crossbows and cavalry. I'm willing to lose units to take cities. I'm fully willing to lose units to take cities. There we go, another city taken. Greece is down to their last outpost and their last city. So I think Rome will be next on the chopping block. But we do need to finish up this war with Greece, because every turn that we haven't won the war, we're getting a chunk of unrest in all of our cities. And it's slowly getting worse. In fact, to the point where I should definitely build 2 new city guards. Although, important piece of information here, we did just finish mercenaries, getting access to the knight, to the crossbow mercenary, the mercenary hall, which is warfare and wealth, the armory, which is a castle outpost improvement for flatland, the ability to hire mercenaries in our settlements, and +1 maximum army size. Big fan of that. So next up, from a cultural perspective, worship can be really, really good. I'm going to go ahead and take medieval universities. This will allow me to convert production into knowledge, and it'll also give me access to medieval universities as well as the Privy Council. So I'll be able to increase my science just a smidge. Okay, let's go ahead and build a monument in Curitiba. We will dedicate that monument to the government, which will help the city manage its food and growth and sanitation. I just think that monuments to those things is really, really nice because it lets you growth curve into more improvements. I will forced march the Khan to the front line with Rome, and we will strike next turn. Okay, Curitiba has 2 city guards. I think I'm going to go ahead and get a full complement of city guards in all my cities to just give myself a sense of security, because I would be really, really scared if like some large army just popped out of nowhere and took them out. And having those city guards really buys you a lot of time. But also, we're going to be having multiple wars going on, so that war unrest is going to start climbing, and managing that is going to be a hell of a task. All right, Rome. It's time to meet your maker, Rome, I'm afraid. Oh, that's Spain. Wrong civ. Whoops. We're going to declare war on Rome. Remember, declaring war causes unrest in all your cities. Just the second you click that declare war button, the unrest jumps up by 10 points. We completely shredded that city, and we're coming in for more. Also, no matter what you tell me, it totally looks like these barbarians are doing the soy face. It's like, oh, soy, raiding, pillaging, soy. You will never not convince me of that. All right, 20% chance to just destroy Knossos outright. And, okay, we rolled poorly, but that's okay because we can slaughter this crossbowman on the hill. Again, remember, every time we get to click on an enemy army and attack them, we get warfare experience that feeds our war machine. Greece is now officially dead with the fall of Knossos. So it's turn 91 and 3 of our opponents are dead. 1, 2, 3, 4 remain. Okay, I don't see any more towns in the city of Roma, so I feel safe to move in here and instantly attack. My units are actually disgusting at attacking cities. I'm going to watch this. Look at that damage. Instantly routed. A single attack from these units is practically like instantly routing these enemies. Although I don't know how morale is calculated. It's something I don't fully understand. But what, one of my horse archers took like 20% of their health as damage? That's insane. Bunch of money and some chaos. And also, it's the best time to generate chaos because we're going to be suffering some chaos events here. I do like that chaos kind of works like a it's like, okay, you want to conquer the world, you better keep momentum up, or it's going to come back to you. And it's going to come to bite you, because some of those chaos events are actually grim. Okay, one more civic guard for Curitiba. War unrest needs to be kept in check. We're potentially ready to annex Kobe, and it's not a bad city. Do keep in mind, it's going to cost me 5 culture per turn. Now, my culture is strong enough to handle that, but do keep that in mind. Not having culture can put you behind so hard economically. Okay, I want to blow up the towns before I blow up the main cities. But I'm going to blow this up. I will forced march these guys to kill Liguria, because I need the money. And then I will forced march my Khan to attack Alexandria. Boom, it's dead now. Look at all that chaos. Yes. Now all this chaos is going to get dipped down into nothing. 3 turns until I'm able to summon the hordes again. 275 combat strength on these guys. That's crazy. Now, the stack without the Khan isn't going to be nearly as strong. It's still going to be strong as hell, though. So whoever this is, I'm going to be attacking them soon. The age of total war is upon us once again. Kobe has been annexed. Let's go see if we can annex Olympia. Now, when I say annexed, I mean integrated. Curitiba has a full complement of city guards, which means A, the city is well defended, and B, the unrest suppression in here is fantastic. Minus 40 from the garrisoned units. It gives us a lot of overhead. We don't make enough food in here, so we're going to go ahead and grab that granary to solve that issue. Then we're going to build the trench to get the science and the culture. In Kolkata, we've got the city guard. I don't think I need the mercenary hall. Have we given a full complement of city guards to maintain unrest here? Unrest is still quite grim. We do have a bit of headroom before we need to buy a watch, though. The mercenary hall is a 4-turn building, gives you 1 warfare XP, which ain't bad. 7 wealth, also not bad. Yeah, I'll go for the wealth. The wealth technically translates into faster culture, which technically translates into more horse archers. Also, I can grab legacy now. So I got my 2nd warfare legacy. In the next era, we are going to be able to do a lot. We're going to have a really cheap army. In Datong, I'd rather work the culture than the public quarters. The food in here is low. Tell you what I will do. I will build a dock. I never built a dock this game. I'll build a dock here and a fishing boat there. This is effectively fine. We're going to import for culture. I forgot that I hadn't done that in here. I wish I had. Culture is more valuable than gold, in my opinion, above a certain point. We are going to start needing sanitation in here. And this city is now starting to reach its potential limit. It's going to have to be retired, if not in this era, but probably towards the end of the next era. It's going to have to be converted to a vassal, and then we're going to have to find another city to take up its mantle. It's done a good job so far. If you think you might be thinking here, what the hell has the city done? It hasn't built any units. It hasn't done anything like that. But look, it's generating science, it's generating culture, and it's generating experience, domain experience. And those are the important things. We don't need to build an army. We print army with culture, and then we got to make sure we have a science economy so we don't fall behind. So we could have a rebellion or pay 600 gold. Why would you never pay 600 gold? We're going to continue the war. We never accept peace from the AI. Type it in the comments. Never accept peace from the AI. So the United States. Oh, I never declared hostilities with the United States. We'll do that. Be a few turns of rest with these units before we can attack. Okay, I'll push down south with the Khan and blast Singidunum. And it is now mine. Regional capital conquered. There are some enemy units floating about in the back lines here. I'll bring up these horse archers. I'm going to rush culture. And guess what I'm going to do? That's right. Call to war, baby. Get him in. Another Roman outpost we can quickly destroy. I don't know why they built it there. There's literally no resources here. It's a weird outpost. Speaking of outposts, I was talking about putting one here, and that's actually not a bad spot. So I'm going to spawn a pioneer and run it over here to grab this area. I'm also going to pop up here to build a trading post on the sheep, because that'll send 1 wool and 1 meat to the capital. And that wool and the meat will just help feed the city. What is next? I guess we may as well do the wine too. It's worth a tiny little bit of money over time. But that's important because our unit upkeep, it's a little much. Each horse army stack costs me, 20 gold to maintain. I'm starting to get a few of them. My unit, I don't actually make that much money. And it's all being burnt on unit upkeep. I do need to make a town somewhere in Curitiba, purely just to get roads between these two cities so I can move units to the front line easier. The lack of roads here is actually making my life a little bit more difficult. I am glad that Spain forward settled me here, though, because now I have a nice road to them. The first game where you actually want people to forward settle you. Now, we could choose to annex Kobe here. It is a completely valid option for us to do that. Right, let's go ahead, and I think this is the sort of thing where the pain train never stops. You have to keep conquering cities with the Khan, because remember, he's on a timer. He's going to die soon. Guy's got a bum ticker, you know what I'm saying? Okay, we're going to go ahead and install satraps, which will give us +5 vassal prosperity per turn. Ain't bad at all. Slowly, our huge swarm of vassals that we're conquering are now going to start building up, and the momentum now. So I want you to imagine, that growth curve. We just hit one of those angles that is going to push us into a higher dimension of success. That's how I want you to think about that. We just hit a curve on the ramp to power that's going to make us go a lot faster. All right, we found a Roman army. Again, this should be a super easy clear because they're using really outdated technology, and we have an extremely highly specialized, highly powerful army running around doing the job. Okay, we're going to kill the small town of Verona for the money, the pillage that you get on that. We finished the trench in Curitiba. What else we got in here? We definitely want to get the library. Science is very hard to come by for us early game. It's going to become less of a problem as time goes on, but for now it's not great. So I reckon we go for the library and then we pick up the aqueduct to take care of sanitation in the city. I'm going to do some religious celebrations because this is going to lower the unrest amount in my cities. It's going to just tick unrest down a little bit. So if there's anywhere that has a little bit of unrest, we just brought it down to a more manageable level. Now, I don't think any of my cities had unrest yet. They were kind of they're starting on the pathway of getting some unrest, but they haven't actually generated any yet. All right, let's take out this army here. Once that army is wiped out, we can move on. So the Khan never stops. That's the important thing. He's my most powerful army. The armies behind him can stop to kill stuff and clean up and do all that sort of stuff, but the Khan, he never stops. And I don't think it's worth it to get any of these, so I am just going to force march my Khan to the north. So force march you up here to Alexandria, and then I'll force march you again to get to Caesarea, because I think these might be Rome's last settlements. Okay, Calcutta finished the mercenary hall. This is where I can start to think about building more of a military, or even just grabbing some of these extraneous buildings. But I will actually levy workers here, because I do have quite a few outposts that need sort of buildings built. I think I'm going to turn this outpost into a castle, because castles provide +1 warfare experience and +1 culture. It's quite nice. We completed the aqueduct in Datong, which gives us access to sanitation. We don't make enough faith here, which is kind of always going to be a problem for this place. We need to get our warship buildings from a tech point of view. So for now, I'll just work on stores because it gives production and domestic export slots, so I can send, potentially resources to a new city if I decide to annex one. Okay, we got a flood in Kobe. I can destroy a pasture or pay 600 gold. I'm destroying that pasture. Are you kidding me? It's like, that was free. All right, we got to continue to find the Roman armies and ambush them and slaughter them with our horse archers. We're going to dash forward to Caesarea, the suspected final holdout of the Roman Empire. We'll force march, we'll attack, and the hope is when we fast forward our way through this combat, we will see the player defeated sign. Perfect. So that's 4 players defeated on turn 97. Technically 5 if you include Revolutionary India, but 4 main players, 3 more remain, and the United States is next. I think Spain will be last. But yeah, this is the power of playing the game carefully and well. I don't know if this would work on the highest difficulty. This is one step below that, but certainly seems to do the trick here. But look at that. The vassal swarm is starting to kick in. 7 research, 7 culture, 33 gold from vassals, 14-ish improvement points from vassals. This is huge. It's all starting to kick in. The growth curve has hit peak thrust, which is what me and your mom do. It's such a stupid. It's so dumb. The game wants me to spawn a settler. I think I would rather. Do I want that innovation? No, I'm about to head to the next era. I don't think I need that innovation. Alrighty, it's been a day or two since I've last played this save file, so we're going to load this bad boy up and continue. Just in case you're wondering why there's a little bit of continuity, I thought I'd slip this in here like I slipped it into your mom. Now, what we were working on here is a lot of really nice stuff here. We got a really, really big ass empire and a whole bunch of horse archers. You know what I would love? I would love for this game to show how much this unit's going to heal this turn. Clip it, ship it, send it to the developer, tell them that's what we want, okay? Here's what I want you guys to do. Really important. If you like Millennia, I want you to be screaming about the things that you care about and what you want to see from this game, okay? It's really, really important. Get on those forums, attack the developers, but not in like a you guys suck kind of way. Be like, hey, listen, mother effer, you better make this part of the game better because we want it. I love you. And always, I want every post you make, okay? Every post you make that I tell you that the impetus that came from me, okay, where you're criticizing the developer or you're telling them they should change the game. What I want you to do is at the end of that message, I want you to say, I do this because I love you, okay? We're going to abuse the developers. We're going to use relationship abuser tactics to manipulate the developers into fixing their game. No, it's fine. Honestly, I think the game has potential. The developers have collated a list, as far as I'm aware, of all the things that people have asked for. And here's the thing. Once people start making a list, they start checking it twice, they'll start knowing whether you've been naughty or nice. And that is sort of going to set the tone for how the game is going to move forward. Okay, I haven't actually declared war in America, can I? Okay, I can declare war. Now is not a bad time to declare war, I guess. We got two pretty good armies out front. I reckon we do need to rush culture. It's been a little while since I played. Oh, being able to spawn a huge army is really good. This will get replaced in Age 5. Then again, spawning the horse archers, we could begin the war on Spain too. If I do another call to war, we could start taking Cordoba, we could take Napoli, we could take Göteborg. So I'm going to pay the money. I'm going to do another call to war, skadoosh. That's going to cost us. It's expensive to do this on a per turn basis because these horse archers are pretty dang expensive. We're going to have to get them up on the border to Spain though. Let me double check. How are my cities doing? Okay, war unrest is gone, non-existent. So let's declare war on the United States of America. And we're going to attack with the crossbowmen first because we want to use the crossbowmen's bonus attack against the militia. Now they do have pretty good defense, but they have a bonus attack, so they will soften these guys up and then retreat pretty quickly. So that's kind of why we do this. So we're going to fast forward a little bit. We'll see how things go. There'll be a lot of shooting. Oh, we might just straight up take the city. Well, let's hit it with the stack of barbarians who will easily be able to shred that down. We captured another city. We are dealing with a lot of chaos. Get into Kyoto, Mr. Merchant. Up to 190% prosperity. The city of Kobe has reached its prosperity cap, which I'm a big fan of. Decent amount of resources coming out of this city now. It even has its aqueduct, so it will continue to grow, which I'm very happy about. Now, I was thinking of annexing that city in the near future, so we'll kind of see about that. Well, we could, in theory as well, order research from here, which would get me 30 tech to finish medieval universities. I don't know if that's worth doing, but I definitely want to take on Miami, which is why I'm forced marching my leader down there. In Datong, I'll queue up a city guard. Now, the game's giving me a reminder to spawn a settler, and there are a few like little coastal towns. Oh god, a new barb camp appeared up here. We'll have to deal with that eventually. But there's a couple of like little coastal towns that we could deal with, or rather than deal with, we could build up here, for example, by the giant barrier reef, the Great Barrier Reef rather. Nice little coastal city here. It's got decent food coming from the fisheries and stuff like that. So I tell you what, let's pop in there. We'll spawn ourselves a settler in Curitiba. We'll send that settler up to deal with this. Now, what attacked the city? It looks like it was a barbarian, so we might, settler might run into issues, but that's fine. I do think we're going to want to spawn a merchant in Olympia, so let me use the merchant spawning power, put it into Olympia, and this way we can rebuild up the prosperity of this city to be, a little bit more valuable. It's a 9-pop city. And you might be wondering, oh, Potato, why are you destroying all these villages? It's because you have this. The rebuild ruined town. I get a bunch of gold, and then all it costs me is a flat amount of engineering experience to rebuild those towns. They always exist. I'm trying to find it now. Here we go. Yeah, this is a ruined town, I believe. So towns are easy to rebuild, which is why I'm more than happy to blow them up. The USA wants peace. I'm definitely not taking peace the turn after I declared war on you, sir. You gotta be insane. Oh, I think we might be able to take Miami this turn. The can attacks. Can the can do it? Oh, the can. Let's have a look. All right, big damage. Nice. The city is completely obliterated in a single turn. Arlington survived. Good for the people of Arlington. And I'm sending a scout to the north just in case there's any barbs or things that I need to deal with up there. So in a kind of awkward turn of events, we need to deal with the Ottoman Empire now. That is the next objective. We've dealt with all of the leftover rebels here in the north, so we're going to start bringing on this stack of horse archers. My horse archers are fast as hell, especially when they're able to go through roads. All right, we got the medieval university unlocked, so we can build +2 more knowledge in our capital. I'm going to unlock worship so that I can have extra worker slots on the Super Monument Foundation, access to the Abbey, which is a castle outpost improvement, and access to the better cathedrals. This should help me get a little bit more worship in my cities, thus taking care of those needs. Now, 2 of my workers in my capital are working not useful tiles. Let's get started on the Privy Council and the Medieval University, both of which have a knowledge boost. You go from 1 knowledge here to 2 knowledge, and then with the Medieval University, if the thing would stop, we'll just get straight up 1 knowledge. So slightly improve our empire from a technological perspective, which is an important perspective to keep in mind. From a housing and happiness perspective, this city could definitely use more housing. I don't think I'm ever going to use this deer tile, so I'm going to place a public quarter there, and that'll handle all of the housing needs we have. Sanitation is something we can deal with. The faith need is also quite good from a culture perspective. Now, we do have a significant amount of wood laying around, for lack of a better term. So I am going to make, first of all, I'm going to make a winery, because the city does have 2 grapes coming in, and now we're able to make wine, which is being converted into culture, and culture is very powerful, remember? But then I think the next thing that we want to do is to build paper, which is going to require us to make a paper maker. And then unfortunately, I don't have any more sort of unworked tiles. I could take one guy off a forester and put him onto a religious scribe, or I could go for the scribe for the manuscripts. I think I'll go for the religious scribes to get those religious texts, because that'll give me that faith boost. Now, of course, that does mean that my food's a little bit off, but we will deal with the things as they come. I do need to get another paper, which means I need another log in here, so I could cancel this log if I wanted to. But yeah, we have a little bit of spread in here for our religion, and our religion should slowly transform across our lands. Yeah, it's slowly spreading. It'll spread a little bit faster as we continue to fulfill people's religious needs. Let's go ahead and declare war with Spain, who fear me. We can go ahead and crushing their cities. Now, a lot of these are just crappy vassal cities. They will slowly build up into something potentially useful over a long period of time. But I think at this point, we're in such an amazing giga powerful snowball that I don't know if the combined might of every civ in the game could even stop us. We're going to move our Khan to the northeast and then use a forced march to attack this army stack. Well, we should kill them and then step into their tile. And then we should be able to force march on Los Angeles. Amazingly, he also went for horse archers. Now, if I take this fight, I will take no damage and deal heavy damage. If I take this fight, I will take light damage. And so I think I'm going to go straight for Los Angeles with another force march. Oh, I can't quite make it. Well, let's kill these guys then. At the very least, we can make these kills happen. One of my horse archers was heavily damaged, but that's okay. We should be able to force march back, or figure out what we need to do there. But otherwise, we'll just keep fighting. And we're also going to go ahead and declare war on the Ottoman Empire and go straight for their cities. No peace, no surrender, no patience. We got to just take them down, rip down these cities, rip down these walls, maximize the amount of chaos that we generate. Now the question is, do I forced march my general again? I think I do. I'm going to use it to take the city of Los Angeles, because if this is the USA's last city, it's a big deal. Then we're going to take a lot of damage here, comparative to a lot of our other fights, but we're going to completely smash them. And it looks like the USA does in fact have more cities, but we can use this city to soften up the rest of their armies. Forced march is crazy good, by the way. I didn't actually consider the concept of plus 20% heal when you gain a victory and a forced march. Those two abilities together is insane, because the forced march hurts you slightly and then you heal from fighting. So the combo of that is actually just completely broken. And I only just realized why I was able to have so much momentum here. So I could take 80% regional efficiency in Datong for 5 turns or pay 600 gold. That 80% regional efficiency is completely within the realm of like, that's objectively fine. Not a problem whatsoever. All right, let's get into Napflio. They will have a defensive adjustment because of the river, but I don't think it's going to save them. Can I get one extra horse archer here to finish the job? Not quite, sadly. All right, let's kill here, finish off this weak little army, and then we'll continue to force march our Khan into enemy territory. We'll kill Minneapolis, boom, blow it up, and then we'll force march again to come back to take on Dallas. Okay, love that we're already hitting Ankara from the Ottoman Empire's point of view. Now again, remember, we don't care if we lose units. These units, we print them for free. And at this point in the game, our culture is so strong that we can sustain a continental war forever, practically, as long as we're constantly burning stuff down. So this army has a little bit of a diversionary direction to choose from, and I think sending it south is the correct play. But more importantly, it also needs to make sure that it's killing any straggler units, because these units could run around and kill my civilian units, which would not be acceptable. Spain offers peace, refuse. No peace, only war. So wait, what happened here? Looks like we got attacked by a small stack of units. They do have a leader. We're not making use of leaders here, which does make us vulnerable to certain kinds of things. Can you guys finish off this city for me? Perfect. Which leaves you guys to finish off these units for me. Even though they have a high defense strength, that's not a problem. Let's rush culture, and we click the call to war button again, although perhaps we should integrate Kobe now, and I will. I'm going to integrate Kobe, and now I'm going to press the call to war button. Boom. And so that will get us 2 more horse archers per culture cycle, which is, I don't think I need to fully explain how busted that is. Also, Kobe already has all the buildings built practically, so let's continue to develop city guards in Kobe for the purpose of building up the city. So there's certain things in here that I'm going to want to see. I could have a burial mound. It's not the worst thing in the world. Plantation is fine. Always make sure that we're importing trade goods for the +1 culture to offset the cost of integrating the city. It would be good if we had another wool, cotton, or flax. We're working forests. The city is growing slowly. I tell you what, I'm going to kill the burial mound. I'm going to build a public quarters. I will kill this dwelling mound, and I will build a monument that I can dedicate to, the right sort of stuff. So looking at Curitiba, it has been cranking along happily for a long time. It's got good growth, it's got good production. I mean, some of that is overflow for sure, but generally I don't have an issue with this city. I think what I will do is I'll tell it to work the monument, because +1 culture is rare. And then I'll spend the time getting the Privy Council and the Medieval University to kind of keep pushing my tech up a little bit. Let's finish off Dallas, which is hopefully finishing off the entirety of America. USA has been eliminated, which means turn 102, and there are 2 enemy players left. Perfect. Let's go take Malaga, a place that I am actually, personally, I've been to Malaga many times, personally very familiar there. Malaga. All right, let's go ahead and take out this city, boom, or rather this town, while we continue the Giga March to the forward. I am kind of curious about, what does uniting the tribes do for the Khan? I'm kind of curious about that, so I might save up to just see what happens if you click that button. Lovely. Datong has its 5 city guards, who are going to protect the city from unrest. That's -40 from garrisoned units. Excellent. Let's see if we can finish these guys off this time. Not quite. We're getting there, though. Maybe we can finish them off now. Really, it's also just really good to farm military experience by fighting. It is kind of nice to see that my units aren't just winning every battle. They are not the most powerful thing ever. They can be destroyed. We're winning every battle, but it's not just a pushover. Some of the fights, like the fights with the Khan, it's a complete and total pushover, but when the Khan's not present, there's a little bit more, you take a little bit more damage. You don't take if my Khan was here, this is a guaranteed complete city wipe, but the fact that this takes 2 turns, right? An extra turn gives people a chance to respond and fight back. Yeah, I would be terrified if somebody was able to execute this build on multiplayer, though. A fire has erupted in Kyoto to destroy the work camp. I'll just pay the money because I don't want to have to build a new building in Kyoto. Production in Kyoto. Oh wait, oh no, I was thinking I was playing Japan. I'm not. I killed Japan. Oh right, okay. I could have actually just taken that L. So to build the medieval university, it requires region level 4, which this city does not have. Well, in the meantime, go ahead and build me the library and the Privy Council to get a smidge more science. Now, I believe I had set up this. So I'm going to go ahead and set up 2 trading posts. I can't remember if you can extract goods from a castle, but it doesn't matter because I'm just going to put trading posts down here to grab these goods and then make sure that this is linked to Kolkata. My last game I played Japan, and so my brain was mixed up with the names of my cities there for a split second. All right, let's kill here. This should count as a victory, so we should, in theory, have combat bonus, or get heals from this, rather. We settle a little city up here. Hey, it's Delhi. Welcome to Delhi. There's food in my belly. Let's unite the tribes, which spawns 2 extra horse archers, which is pretty cool. And then we can get a kill here, which just gets us more warfare experience. So, you know what? Uniting the tribes, I would say, is an okay power. I think I would rather just force march this doom stack of the Khan around than make use of the force march. We'll fight up onto this hill to take out these units. We have crossbowmen who are able to shred infantry, so it shouldn't be a problem. Antikaya will fall next. Boom, the city is taken. And truthfully, we are on the verge, as far as I'm aware, of complete and total victory. Spain offered a truce. Spain used the culture power to force a truce. Declare hostilities. Impressive use of the game mechanics by the AI. Let's kill Manisa. Another town will fall, grabbing us a little bit of gold and stuff. We're going to take medium damage attacking the city. I'm okay with taking medium damage. It's all about churning my units into my enemy. I will have to redirect away from Spain, although to be fair, that does mean I get a reprieve from war exhaustion, which ain't so bad. Thankfully, I can redeclare hostilities and attack Spain's unit in the open. However, they do have a 3-turn stay of execution, essentially. All right, we'll forced march the Khan. Oh, I have to go around this mountain range. I did not realize that. So I don't know how much longer this Khan will last. I don't remember what turn I adopted him. That'd be useful information to know. All right, we were gloriously attacked here, which means my units got healed from this one pikeman fighting this crossbow. He hits the crossbow once, and then the crossbow absolutely murks him. And he hits the crossbow again. The crossbow, barely holding onto his morale, destroys him and heals his own stack for 20% of their HP. Absolute Giga Chad behavior. TBH. Let's move this stack down south. We're going to move in on this crappy one era leader to heal my stack, and then we'll move in on the city with the raiders, who truthfully probably should be dead by now considering how much combat they've been in, and yet somehow they have survived. All right, we're moving the Khan up. We're going to force march him a little bit, and then we'll do another little force march, get him closer to the show, the fun zone. Let's rush culture. I don't actually think I need any more units, so instead I will create a town for Curitiba because the city does need it. It currently has one mining town. I would not mind building it an agriculture town, although there's a really good lumber town right there. If I just create a town, boop, boom, it's going to be a lumber town, easy. Okay, I think it's time that Bursa has met its maker, so we'll shred it. Perfect. We're also going to hit Adern, although, what do they got in here? Knight, merchant, crossbow mercenary. Jesus, okay. I might need the Khan for that. We'll need a little bit of extra violence to take that city. It says we'll take heavy damage, and I think we will, so I don't want to just slam my units into the city pointlessly. Let's have a look around. What are the powerful cities here? Los Angeles looks good enough to spawn a merchant in, so I will, to get it going. Antakya is also another merchant city, I think. Boom. Whenever I see Antioch or Antikia, I think of the Antikyra mechanism. It's like that cool piece of technology that people, I don't remember what people, I think it's like a calendar or an astrolabe or something. I don't know. It's like a navigation device. It's like an ancient piece of technology that was like I'd say rediscovered. It was kind of found and then rebuilt. I think there was a YouTube channel dedicated to like rebuilding it, like the Click Spring, I think it was called. Oh, nice, we've got Warship. So we can build the Abbey, we can build Grant the Trench, and we also have access to the extra worker slot on the monument. Did we actually finish the monument? I hope so. All right, let's research arts. It's only a 1-turn tech. I might have just clicked through that event, honestly. That tells us what happened with the super monument. So I can lose 1 population in Kobe and gain 10 unrest. That honestly seems fine. Boop. Not a problem. It'll regrow. I can declare war on Spain next turn. I have 1 more turn of diplomatic cooldown. I'll bring 3 stacks to attack Adern because I think I'm going to have to use attrition of just like fierce assaults to break this city. Okay, we got arts. Oh, I can upgrade it to the super monument. Okay, so I have 100 monument progress. I upgrade it to the super monument so I can get a palace fortress, 5 government XP, 55 warfare experience, 10 influence and 1 culture. The temple is 5 engineering, 5 diplomacy, 20 wealth. The forest temple is 5 diplomacy and arts and 5 culture. Oh, that one's strong. And then we've got the super monument foundation palace temple, which is 5 exploration, 5 arts, and 20 Pyrrhonism. We could also go for the grand monument, which is 10 influence, 20 wealth, 5 culture. I like that one. Palace fortress is very powerful. That 5 government experience per turn is huge for expanding and upgrading your empire and stuff like that. The forest temple is also extremely powerful. The temple bazaar is really strong. All of these are amazing. I think the grand monument is fine, honestly. Yeah, government experience is just so hard to come by that building a palace fortress seems like the right move. Now, can I build another? No, you can only have 1 palace fortress, but there it is, right? There's our palace fortress. 5 government experience, 5 warfare XP, 10 influence per turn. Now, the influence is what you use to expand your borders. Basically, basically you take the city Each tile has a cost based on the type of tile and the distance to the capital. You take the influence of the city and you divide it evenly between all those tiles, and it will slowly accumulate to claim them. You can see we're claiming a whole bunch of tiles very, very slowly. Like things like mountains are very, very slow and hard to claim. Flatland is quite easy to claim. Hills are harder to claim. Forest is harder to claim. So it's all just sort of like your culture naturally spreads out based around the terrain a little bit. Kind of Civ-4-esque, actually, if I remember correctly. So we can work on migration. This will allow us to make delicacies. We can promote tourism, increasing population. We can improve our ranches. We can improve our castles. Castle towns, okay, lots of culture from castles. Migrant plantations, which give housing and food. Migrant farms, which give housing. Okay, let's go for immigration. Okay, Baghdad is falling and it's gone now. We can officially declare war on Spain, and it has been declared. We'll just find the easy pickings for now, like taking on this sort of melee infantry stack with a group of crossbows. Seems like a pretty reasonable move. Sure, we took a bit of damage in return, but we did the job. Oh my god, they left the city of Adern. This is immediate double attack force march if the city doesn't fall like instantly. Force march, get back in there. Ottomans have been eliminated. Amazing. Fucking amazing. I can't believe they made that mistake. They were like, let's move our army out of the city. Whoops. They could have held out there for a long time. I'm just glad that I don't have to have to grind units into that thing forever. All right, Göteborg, Goat Town, as I like to call it, has fallen. I'm down to the last few Spanish cities before we get the ultimate Giga Conquest victory. Let's reform our kingdom. I like that +10 innovation and the +2 culture. Salamanca city is next. It should be broken and burnt. We'll take on Vigo, although Vigo will be a little bit better defended because it has been a leveled up city. But even so, this is the sort of storm of steel that you cannot stop. Where's my Khan? Here he is. All right, let's use the Khan to finish off Zaragoza. Now, might not take it this turn. Never mind, we completely obliterated it. And we'll use Force March to get to Toledo. I mean, the level of destruction you can do with a Force March in Khan is insane. There are walls here, which makes our life a little bit harder, but it's not really stopping us. This is insane what I'm doing to Spain right now. The fact that I'm just Force Marching this giga stack of a Khan around is bonkers. Oh God, do they have a secret city somewhere? Please say it ain't so. It's down here. Okay. We did Force March our Khan there. Get in the water. You can't Force March boats. God damn it. I mean, okay, fair. I guess boats don't march, but I'm still... logically that follows, but mechanically I'm angry. Now that these guys aren't in a city, they're a little bit easier to deal with. Now, we will take some serious damage here. Just keep that in mind. But... get a lot more damage on. Medieval University completed in Kolkata. I'm going to get to work on the Grand Trench for the knowledge and culture. Well, mostly actually for the Pyrrhonism increase. We worship at the altar of Pyrrhon, the great Pyrrhon Flax. His rage is legendary. His anger is unbound. Higher Mercenaries, local reforms. Higher Mercenaries is so good. 2 knights and a crossbow infantry compared to a pike and a crossbow from a Ray's army. Damn. Kobe has no towns. So let's get it some towns. I think a pair of lumber towns in here will actually just be straight up broken. So we'll work on that. And we will expand this town. It will become a lumber town. We'll put foresters all around. Look at that. So much production, Kobe. Oh, we have a monument here. I guess we could dedicate this to government. I like the government one. We have a weaver. I don't know how useful a weaver is, so I'll delete that. So how is this town going to get food? Well, we don't have to worry about that right now because we could just make a pair of saw pits and have this place go crazy on production. I can lose monument progress. Oh no, my monument that I already built. All right, let's get the Khan onto land and we will start force marching him to the final destination. Oh, this is perfect. If we can attack this, this will get us, not only will it get us some military XP, it will get us a heal, being the force march is lowering the health of our Khan a lot less. The synergy on raiders and Khans is actually insane. One more force march, we can get a step closer. Come on, baby. There it is. What I suspect is our last city. I'm just going to tell the rest of my army to take a hike. I hate moving units. It's so lame. Innovation war horses. Ooh, ranches and pastures give warfare experience. I will take it. All right. Do not let me down. Khan. Boom. Town dead. Forced march active. Here it is. I actually totally screwed myself by attacking that town. And now I have to wait another whole turn. God damn it. I'm a fool for you. For your mama. We did, in fact, finish immigration, which is kind of neat. Let's pick up construction. If I upgrade this to a migrant farm, it produces 2 wheat now. 2 wheat. I'm 2 wheating. I'm gonna tweet. My dude, think of pasture over here. Ooh, I do like the idea of a ranch. Boom. Give me that ranch. We'll build a coliseum for the warfare and culture. We'll also grab the theater for the arts XP. Spain wants peace. I refuse. I know Spain, there are literally no more important targets than you because you're all that's left. I have killed everyone. That is it. What next? Do I have to press a button to win the game? Do I have to end the turn for the game to detect that I'm a badass? I kind of wish I had done this on a continents world because I would have been able to conquer my first continent pretty easily. But the second continent would have taken a little bit more time, you know what I'm saying? And I would have been forced to contend with more game mechanics. So something to think about in future. But you guys did get your all war, no peace game. I'll do a local reforms in Kolkata, just for the memes. And we will... Oh, right, we finished construction research. Cool. I guess I will research lathe workshops. No, I need to get smelting first. Boom, there we go. Perfect. With none remaining who could oppose me, your nation has achieved glorious victory that will last till the end of time. Humankind enters a new age of strength and unity under the untouchable banner of India. Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. There's like a whole bunch of barbs. Barbacious. Barbuda? Barcelona. Were there any cities that I didn't conquer aside from Barcelona, which must have been settled by like a barbarian settler at some point? Not that I can tell. Dude, this was a sick... I can technically click on this, but it doesn't do anything. This was a sick as hell game. This is super fun. I do think that the Raiders into Cannes gameplay is really good. Really good. They definitely nailed that feel. I think the issues I have with the game with regards to this game, like this actual playthrough, a lot of it is UI and basic stuff. Like, why can't I choose to raise these cities? But I actually, you know what? I kind of hope the developer sticks to their guns and says, no, you can't raise cities. I think it would be nice if you could downgrade a city to just be a collection of towns, or to move the central administration, or like, what if Curitiba could absorb York into its like domain of influence? You know what I mean? Because that would help deal with, like, let's say Bangalore is like this huge city and it needs like land, and Susa is in the way. You know what I mean? It would be nice if I could just like and eat Susa, you know? Yeah, being able to, or at the very least, maybe in the late game, being able to like, you could change the political situation, change how the game, like how the mechanics work, how you cities share tiles, so on and so forth. But generally, this was goddamn badass. And I'm having a lot of fun playing Millennia still. I got another playthrough for you guys coming, so do keep an eye out for that. And who knows, maybe there'll be some tutorials, some guides, some fun stuff there. Thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this playthrough. I love you all very much, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!